Okay, so the case begins thusly. The Pilfered Painting. We are sitting around the fire at 221 B. Baker Street, listening to Holmes pontificate on the stories from the morning paper when we are interrupted by the frantic clanging of the doorbell. Hey, Spinny. Just in time to kibitz. A tall, white-haired gentleman in his late 50s is immediately shown in by Mrs. Hudson. Holmes rises from his chair, removing his cherry wood pipe from his mouth, and says, "Ah, Sir Simpson, a not unexpected pleasure to see you. We have been talking, as is all of London, about the theft of the 2 Kuiper paintings from the National Gallery last night, so a visit from the gallery's director is not a surprise. Won't you sit down and tell us what you know of this unfortunate affair?" Holmes has walked over to the fireplace and is refilling his pipe with tobacco from the Persian slipper that hangs from the mantel. Sir Simpson Whitcomb wearily lowers his tall frame into the chair that Holmes has just vacated and begins his story. As you may know, about 6 months ago, July 1st to be exact, an auction was held at Armitage's gallery for 2 recently discovered de Kuipers. Before that...
What's that?
Paintings, I believe.
Oh, is that like somebody's last name?
Yeah, it's lowercase
Roger that.
d-e, capital K-U-Y-P-E-R-S.
Okay.
Before that time, there were only 6 known paintings by that great but elusive master. 4 are in the Louvre, in Paris. 1 is at the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. And 1 in the private gallery of Lord Winslow Smedley of London. So, you can imagine what excitement was caused in the art world when those 2 paintings were put up for auction. In May, when my head curator Brady Norris returned from his holiday in Belgium, he informed me of the impending sale. I immediately went to the gallery's directors for authorization to purchase the paintings. As you know, I was successful at the auction, and the paintings went to the National Gallery for £125,000. A large sum, but less than we had anticipated. We were fortunate that the auction was held in London on such short notice, so many of the buyers who would have raised bidding were unable to attend. The National Gallery has always taken pride in its collection of Flemish and Dutch paintings. The masterpieces of Rubens and Rembrandt have always been popular with the British public. And the de Kuipers were not disappointing in that respect. The de Kuipers became the focal point of the Flemish room. I am sure you understand the fascination people feel when faced with objects as rare as these. I became absorbed and fascinated with the idea of bringing together all of the known de Kuipers. All of the owners of these paintings agreed, and in 2 days the show was to have opened. Now it is postponed. I hope not forever. This could irreparably damage the gallery, Mr. Holmes. Holmes, who has been standing in front of the fire, eyes fixed on the flames, now turns and faces Sir Simpson. Surely the paintings are insured, Sir Simpson. Yes, of course.
Dun, dun, dun.
By Lloyd's. It is the loss of confidence in the gallery's security that worries me. Other museums will not allow their paintings to be shown off if we cannot guarantee their safekeeping. I have just come from the Metropole Hotel, where I met with Jean-Paul Beauclerc, the curator of the Louvre. He will not allow the 4 de Kuipers in his custody to be hung at the National Gallery for fear they will be in danger. I fear the same response from Amsterdam and Lord Smedley, not to mention all of the future exhibitions that may be cancelled if our security remains in doubt. One question, Sir Simpson. Was the show well publicized? Yes, indeed. It has been public knowledge for weeks. We had no reason to keep it secret. We were anticipating a large and enthusiastic response from the public. When were the other paintings to be hung at the gallery? Tomorrow, Mr. Holmes. And was this also public knowledge? Yes, it was. The press had been invited and a small ceremony had been planned. And where are the other paintings now? The Louvre collection is now at the French Embassy. The Rijksmuseum's de Kuyper is in our storeroom. We were to pick up Lord Smedley's in the morning at his London townhouse. Thank you, Sir Simpson. I think we have all the facts now. Hopefully, we will be able to clear this matter up in a short time. If we shall need to ask you more questions later, where shall we be able to reach you? I will be at my home. Please, feel free to call.
I think it was Lord Smedley, just because he sounds like somebody who's up to no good.
Didn't we run afoul of him earlier?
Did we?
I don't know. It sounds similar. Or it sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
Okay, so there's no obvious secretary to go talk to first this time, and it doesn't sound like we're going to prison yet.
All of my notes just went away.
Because they're on page 2.
Oh, okay.
I like to use
Nope.
page... Nope, they're on page...
Some of my notes are on page 2. I had a note that said, it had stuff about where everything was now.
Oh. Oops.
How did that happen?
You clicked out of the window, maybe? Because all I did
No,
was...
I watched it, and all of a sudden it just went bloop. This is not accessible, and then it reloaded, and then it was.
How did it go?
Might have been...
bloop.
Might have been a little lag then, because all I did was just add another frame so I could take notes about where we've gone.
But
And it won't get in the way of your notes.
okay, how did my stuff end up on page 2 then?
Because I added a page in front of it.
Oh, gotcha.
So
All
that...
right. Can you read the whole thing again so I can take notes on it again?
Sure. What would you like?
I think I got it, but say the whole thing again. I wasn't listening.
Yeah. So
could you
Sir
repeat the third
Simpson-
thing?
Sir Simpson came. He said that the paintings were stolen,
Mm-hmm.
and that there was an auction on July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
There are 4 paintings from the Louvre. There's
Mhm.
one Winslow Smedley's gallery, one in the Rijksmuseum, and that's where my notes end.
And 2 missing ones.
And the
that
2
were
missing.
stolen from the National Gallery.
Oh yes, that's right. The 2.
Right. And then you said you had written down where they were being... It happened to me yesterday, the weird thing. Yeah, Jamboard does seem to have some weird... If you leave a text box open for too long, sometimes it does not save through appropriately. So I'm starting to wonder. You might have to hit return a little more often.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to click out of the box and save everything, and then it went whoop.
Okay, so the current paintings. The paintings from the Louvre are at the French Embassy.
The ones from the Rijksmuseum are at the gallery.
At the gallery storeroom.
Okay. The one, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
National Gallery. Smedley's is still at his house.
Smedley's is still at his house. So...
Wait, there's more.
There's more.
Who was the Jean whatever Beauchamp? What was his name? And who was he? Jean-Claude or...
Yes, Jean-Paul Beauclerc, who is the curator of the Louvre. And thank you for the reroll. I will put that in the... that's Jenny typing when she has the audio focus.
Sorry. Can you hear me typing?
When you have the audio focus.
Oh, gotcha.
What's audio focus?
I don't know.
When Zoom thinks you're the speaker. Although Zoom is pretty good at like letting people crosstalk. Way more than other chat platforms are.
Yep. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to to write down. Were there any other names besides
Um,
Smedley and Beauclair?
not really.
Okay,
Um,
sure.
I'm skimming now for anything else that came through. It's all good. Yeah, thank you for. Glad to have you here, by the way, Jeremy. Good to have somebody kibitzing with us. Not really. We do know that it was well advertised in the press that they had the 2 paintings on display. We know that they were quickly sold.
Mm-hmm.
At auction for a large sum, but less than they had anticipated. I'm wondering if the paintings weren't real.
Possibly.
I mean, maybe that's a little too in depth, because it feels to me like a good possibility that, since it's such an elusive thing and they're so rare, maybe they weren't authentic. But I have no idea where that goes as far as storyline goes.
Possibly.
So we can.
So we should go to the National Gallery Museum to go talk to them.
Probably. Oh, here's the article about it in the paper.
Ooh, what have we got?
Which paper are we looking at? Hang on.
January 22nd, 1891.
Do you have
The
like a
Kuiper painting
number?
stolen from National Gallery. Is that the one you're looking at?
Yes.
Which one? No, which number is it?
10.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Police report that the National Gallery's 2 de Kuiper paintings were stolen last night. According to the guards on duty, the paintings were stolen shortly before midnight. Scotland Yard is investigating. Sir Simpson Whitcomb, the gallery's director, could not be reached for comment. So that's who just came to talk to us.
Yeah, we should really talk to that guy.
Yeah. This burglary comes only days before the opening of a show bringing together all of the known de Kuipers in the world. The paintings stolen, Summer Solstice and the Blue Unicorn, were the most recently discovered paintings by the 17th century student of Rubens. The National Gallery acquired them at auction last summer. That exhibition has been postponed temporarily. So nothing exciting there other than the names of the paintings.
There's another thing about art exhibitions, etc. There's another gallery, Bickers and Son, have a gallery happening. I wonder if it's like just a coincidence, or
that it might be a let's get rid of the paintings so they can't have a concurrent exhibition going on.
I mean, it's a possibility. It's a long shot. I'm not saying that this is what's happening. I'm saying it's a possibility. It's all.
I would bet dimes to dollars that if we were to head over to Bickers and Son, there would be some shade being thrown.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's another thing on display at the Door Gallery, The Vale of Tears, the last work produced by the vanished hand of the great Alsatian. It is a rendering of "Come unto me, all ye that travel and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Every class of human suffering is represented. It is a beautiful and touching subject to have been the outcome of the great artist's very last thoughts. On view at the Door Gallery address with his other celebrated pictures, 10 to 6, admission 1 shilling.
Now, see, I'm wondering about checking in, because there's an auction notice at the Armitage, and I'm almost wondering if maybe that's a place we need to check out just to see who else was interested in those paintings.
Possibly.
Or if that might just be, I mean, there's a list of modern pictures and drawings from different private collections. So there's a list of private collectors, but I don't recognize any names yet.
Let's see. Yep, there's the...
Although that might be another one of those, if any of those names come up somewhere else, we want to head over there and see what's going on, because that could be a thing.
Where are you seeing the auction notice?
the
Page 2.
Second page.
Page
the bottom.
2.
Left side.
Page 2.
Yep, left column, second from the bottom.
There's a page 2?
There is a page 2.
There is a page 2.
There's also a letter to the editor about the Rubens exhibit, or one of the pictures in the Rubens exhibit, just because it's on the same topic. It says, "Sir, Lord Thurlow is correct with regard to the number of pictures by Rubens contained in the National Gallery, but I fear his knowledge of them is but slight, or he would not have attempted to correct your correspondent H and designate the celebrated portrait in the Peel collection as the Chapeau de Poix." De Poix? H was quite right when he spoke of the painting as Chapeau de Poix. The picture takes its name from the Spanish hat worn by the lady, which, it must be evident to every observer, is made of felt or beaver, Paul, not of straw, paille. It is true that when the Tate Mr. Smith discovered this portrait, he called it erroneously the Chapeau de Paille. I am, sir, yours obediently, Everett Sedgwick, 21 King William Street. So an art appreciator.
Another name we should be watching for to pop up somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, they're definitely seeing there's potential for them to be getting rid of the things.
The paintings.
The paintings. Although, again, advertising in the paper that you're having an auction where you're going to sell off stolen paintings also seems like the kind of thing that one should not be doing.
Well, the
they're
people who are
advertising
selling
watercolors, right?
Mm.
Oh,
True.
here is the article or the sale notification in the London Times, Thursday, June 26, 1890. Messrs. Armitage and Armitage respectfully give notice that they will sell by auction in their great rooms on Tuesday, July 1st at 1 o'clock precisely, 2 recently discovered De Kuyper paintings, Summer Solstice and the Blue Unicorn. So,
Which paper is that?
that is that is Thursday, June 26, 1890.
So
Paper number 9?
Yes,
a while ago.
a while ago. Yeah, last summer.
But they might be people we'd want to talk to if they sold the paintings to the gallery.
Yep.
Yes.
And they've got another auction happening as well.
Yes.
Is that our first stop, or should we visit the scene of the crime?
I think we should visit the scene of the crime. And did Sir Simpson say he was at home or at the gallery?
He would be at
He's-
home.
At his
home.
house.
Okay, so I think we should make a trip there as well, maybe.
Really?
Although he's already kind of probably given us all he knows.
That's my read. Is I'm not sure what more he would say that we can't glean from other sources relatively
True.
easily. There we go. Okay, so keeping track of our journey, for my purposes, bing. Our first stop is the gallery.
That's my
Yeah.
vote.
Yes.
Makes sense to me.
The gallery.
The gallery.
Taking a second to update one thing over here because that doesn't look right at all. Because I just wrote notes to myself and they don't show up. Why are they not showing up?
I don't know. Same reason mine disappeared.
Oh, that's why. Okay, I just gotta shrink that, I think. Nope, that didn't do it. That's so bizarre.
How bizarre.
Okay, problem solved. Really?
I couldn't help myself.
Is that what they're saying in that song?
How bizarre, but how bizarre.
Oh, I never knew that.
Really? What do you think they were saying?
I thought they were naming some guy named Cal Bizarre.
Really?
See that?
Really?
It's like lock the cash box.
Oh, now you're just. Now
There's
you're
a
just.
bathroom on the right.
Yeah.
What?
Excuse me while I kiss this guy.
Ah. I also remember thinking that I was having a weird moment when I realized that "Shut Up and Dance with Me" was not a song about dancing, and feeling like it was like another one of those deep, hidden, inappropriate meaning songs. And then I watched an interview with the guys that did the song. I went, "Oh no, really
It is just shut up and dance with
it
me.
is literally going to a party and having a beer and having this really forward girl dance with him."
Yes, that's what I tried to tell you.
Yeah. Anywho, Michael Balfe, the head guard, is waiting for us when we arrive at the National Gallery.
Balfe?
Balfe.
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 Okay.
That's a bummer of family name. We make great weapons. We are known as the Smiths. We were great tavern owners. Thus we are known as Goodmen. And your family? We got hit in the head a lot with soccer balls.
It's better than Belcher.
Or brace girdle.
Or Brace. Yeah.
Anywho, were you at the on duty last night? Yes, I was. There were 4 guards on duty when the thefts occurred. Myself, Gordon Dickey, Warren Early, and Charlie Pickens.
Hang on, I'm writing all these down.
What was
Gordon
the
Dickey.
early?
Gordon Dickey, Warren Early,
Barley chickens.
and Charlie Pickens. Our shift begins at 4 p.m. each day, and the routine never varies. Upon our arrival at 4 o'clock, we prepare the gallery for its closing at 5. And the day of the robbery was no exception. By 5:15, all of the employees of the gallery had left, with the exception of Sir Simpson and Mr. Norris. It is their custom to remain until the gallery is secured. Now, if you'll recall, Mr. Norris was the gentleman who returned from Europe, having found the paintings. Brady Norris had found the paintings in Belgium.
Ah, that's the other name.
Inf- Brady Norris, and informed me of the impending sale. And then it was held at auction, and that's where they got it. So he heard in Belgium that the paintings were going to be sold in London at auction.
Okay.
So he was there as well. It is their custom to remain until the gallery is secured. There's at 5:30, Sir Simpson informed me that he was going home, and I personally let him out through the main entrance. Mr. Norris informed us that he was staying on because he was expecting a delivery.
Mm-hmm.
At approximately 5:45, a Cummins and Goins delivery wagon arrived. Charlie and I helped Mr. Norris and the delivery men to unload 1 large crate, 2 smaller crates bearing the stencil of Jardines into the storeroom. And 2 smaller crates. So 3 crates, 1 big, 2 small, bearing the stencil of Jardines into the storeroom and through the loading dock door. After the delivery men had left, Charlie locked and barred the loading dock door. I left Mr. Norris in the storeroom to check his shipment and returned to the guard room. At 6:30, Mr. Norris informed me that he had locked the storeroom and that he would be leaving for the evening. I let him out through the main entrance. I then made my rounds, checking all of the doors in the office wing to make sure they were secured. I locked the door to the office wing. At 7, the bell rang at the main entrance, and there was Sir Simpson in the company of a French gentleman whom Sir Simpson introduced as the curator of the Louvre. He informed me that he wished to show Mr. Beauclerk the gallery in which the Dykheibers were hanging. I accompanied them to Gallery 12 and waited there while they admired the 2 paintings and discussed the placement of the other Dykheibers in for the show. At 7:30, I showed them out through the main entrance and locked the door when they left. As he was leaving, Sir Simpson informed me that he would be at Dame Agnes Smedley's for the evening, should he be needed. Our routine consists of having 1 guard on patrol outside the gallery and 2 patrolling inside, with the 4th remaining in the guard room by the main entrance. One of the inside patrols covers the British West Wing, coming back through the north vestibule, octagonal hall, and back around to the entrance. The other follows a counterclockwise route through the east wing, checking the office wing as he passes the Dutch and Flemish rooms, before passing through the northern galleries and the vestibules. I took the 11 o'clock rounds through the east wing. At that time, which should have been around 11:10, the paintings were in their proper place and in good order in Gallery 12. I checked the door that leads to the office wing, then continued on around to the guard room. Then Gordon made his rounds, following the same path I had just made. Except when he arrived at Gallery 12, he found that the 2 Decabre paintings had been cut from their frames. I answered his alarm. It was about 11:35. I sent him to check the loading entry and the office wing. The only keys to the outside doors are kept in the guard room or in the custody of patrolling guards. Sir Simpson and Mr. Norris, the only members of the staff to have keys only to the office wing door and the offices and the storeroom in the office wings. Those are the events of that dreadful evening as I remember them. The other guards have given their statements to Scotland Yard and have returned to their homes.
There were men inside the crates that arrived.
I was just thinking that same thing. Or, yeah, at least one.
Mm-hmm.
Quite likely, one would surmise.
That was a lot of info we just got.
Yeah. I'm not sure I got all of it.
Yeah, it really was a lot.
Well, I have some good news. I'm going to throw this first to Facebook because we are all in the same chat there. Jenny's not, but I'll put them on the Jamboard here in just a second. If you can let me, put them up.
Put what up?
These pictures.
Oh, there's pictures.
There's some pictures.
Pictures?
Picture
Will
pages.
navigate myself. I don't know.
So let me go into here. This is also a really stupid easy way for me to get the pictures onto the computer so I can then get them onto the Jamboard.
All right. I think
A map.
Copy image.
is that on page 1?
Nope, it's on page 3 now.
Page 3.
Or it will be shortly.
I was gonna say, nah.
It's loading.
It's not there.
The data has to go to space and come back.
But we're in the same house.
Okay, that's legit.
It doesn't have to go to space. It just has to go to my computer.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're set up where it has to go to space first.
I know.
And then it can go. So here's the map. And we can recount the guards' walk if we think it's relevant. Although I'm going to shrink those down so I can actually draw
Yeah,
on
I don't
them.
know that it's relevant now.
It
I
might
wonder if...
come up, later, but I don't know that I feel like
Okay,
it's super
so
important.
some highlights for what? Thought the internet was through tubes. Yeah, it might be through tubes too. I don't know. So Gallery 12 is where they were being displayed. And Gallery 12 is XII, which is where?
XII.
Oh, the Turner Collection.
No. XII
Well, that's-
is right at the end of the offices. That's
Oh.
XXII. That's
Oh, you're right.
22.
You're right. So it's
It's
right.
right at the end of the offices.
Oh.
So it's right there.
And there's a doorway right here
Mm-hmm.
that leads between the offices and Gallery 12.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like okay. Can we talk basic security here for a minute?
How else would you... I mean, there's got to be a door to the offices somewhere.
Well, yes.
Why not off of Gallery 12?
But if you're going to have crazy rare paintings, why would you put them in a gallery that is a literal, not figurative, straight line shot from the back door to that gallery?
Because the door is locked and barred. I mean,
Literal.
all of the paintings are priceless. Theoretically, that's why they're in the museum,
Sure.
right?
You would do it for the insurance money.
There's
Quite
that too.
possibly. Okay, do we want to recount the guard walk, or do we feel like that's not relevant yet?
Not yet, because I'm just gonna forget.
Okay,
Yeah.
Wonder, does Mr. Norris run a hotel by chance?
we would have to go inquire.
Why? Why are you thinking that?
Because there's an advert for a Norris's hotel
Hmm?
with an address, and I wonder where that address is.
Oh, well, let's see. If we look up Norris,
Oh, so there is. For families and gentlemen.
62 Hogarth Road. Is that near the gallery at all?
Let's see, where is the gallery? Travelers.
okay, so Brady Norris is at 22 WC, so he's not far from. He lives near the gallery, which was at
Where's the
24
gallery?
WC.
24 WC.
Yeah, so he's like up the street. The hotel,
The hotel is in Southwest, so no, they're not next to each other.
and it's called
Okay.
what?
It's called Norris's Hotel, 62 Hogarth Road, Southwest, Earl's Court.
Curious, because it's not listed as a hotel in the phone book, nor is it listed by that name in direct directory. The only Norris in here
Not that kind of hotel.
is well, but it says for families.
Oh, it's way over there.
Yes.
It's on the outskirts. Yeah, it's nowhere near the gallery.
a little water does
It's-
take the bite off of it, by the way.
A red herring.
The bite off of what?
Bushmills,
Which is?
Irish whiskey.
It's got a bite.
It's got a bite. I just
It
have
seems
to know if
healthy
you're really
for you.
sure you want it.
Not my favorite.
Arr.
All right. So,
Okay. I think Norris is sounding fishy. The Cummins and Goins company sounds fishy. I definitely am digging.
Haven't we run into the Cummins and Goins company before? Like
is it
another.
an actual company name or is that just the term for...
No,
a
they're in
delivery
the book.
It's
Oh,
probably
okay.
run by Bob Cummins and Steve Goins.
Yes, but they have.
I mean, that's what I was
offices.
thinking too,
Yeah.
for sure.
But I mean, I definitely am digging the and especially because he took possession of them, of the crates. So that would definitely sound like
Yes.
he's in on this.
And he said that he locked everything up and the guard didn't go double check him.
Well, wait.
That's our man, Mr. Norris.
At 6:30, Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Norris informed me that he had locked the storeroom, and he would leave for the
Mhm.
evening.
Yes.
But the 11 o'clock walk got around and checked the door that leads to the office. I checked the door that leads to the office wing and then continued on to the guard room. So he checked, going back to that map, he did
I
check.
didn't see the guard. Where is the guard room?
And when he checked, what did he find?
I would assume that's his way of saying that he checked that the door was locked.
Or looked at the door, you know.
The guard room is located He also told us that when he went through this whole spiel about the gallery. We did there. Routines, one guard patrolling. Guard room by the main entrance. So I would assume the guard room must be somewhere down in this vicinity here. Down by, I'm assuming, Trafalgar Square.
Mm-hmm.
This is the main entrance here. So one of these things in here is the guard room.
Okay. Because, and does he said the guards that are inside, one of them stays in the guard room and the other one does the rounds?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, one guard patrols outside the gallery, 2 inside, 4 stays at the guard room.
Okay.
The inside patrol covers the west wing, the British wing. So that's these guys.
Mm-hmm.
The other follows a counterclockwise route through the east wing. That's this wing. Counterclockwise would be going this way, which would mean once he's checked this door, he has to go all the way up through here, over to here, and then back down again.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sharing a screen?
Oh, I'm on slide 3.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and I'm using the laser pointer.
Yes, it's a little green dot. Or
Yeah.
a little green line.
Laser.
I really dig it because then I can highlight stuff I don't want to leave circles on. Okay, so west wing coming back to the north. Okay, so inside goes to the west wing, coming back to the north vestibule. Now we are going to go through this because we're here. North. I just lost my place.
You were in the Tuscan ballroom.
Oh, the octagonal hall and back around to the entrance. So there's so it must be through here. I guess maybe up and around and then back down. But they go through the octagonal hall.
So he said counterclockwise, so he probably goes through the French room, the late Italian schools, Dutch and Flemish schools, and then back
That's
through.
the other one.
Oh, okay.
Before passing through the northern galleries and vestibules. So the other one must go up like this. So he's doing the wide arc. And then one goes out through the British, comes back in, goes up here, hits the octagonal room, and then comes down and goes back again. So in theory, once someone's done checking the door over here, no one's going to see it until the guard has walked all the way around and come back here and said, okay, it's time to start another pass. The second guard doing this is never going to have line of sight to that room.
That's true.
Again, great place to put priceless paintings you don't want stolen.
And also, you should do everything in a routine every single day at the same time.
Yeah. Like, why aren't they varying their routes?
Yeah.
I bet they are now.
This is one of those things like, maybe you should put bulletproof glass in the Capitol. Kind of like armchair security theory.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's my thinking. In defense of the stupid guard AI, once you figure out the most efficient way to check spaces so that you minimize time between checks, it might be better than randomly, which might leave some places never checked and some places checked far too often.
Yeah.
That's functionally very similar, though.
True. But either way, whoever did this would have, let's see, they checked the door at 11:10. It was fine. At 11:35, it was stolen. So they have a 20-minute window.
Or somebody came in through that door and locked it behind them.
Right.
Oh.
Because if I were a criminal, that's definitely what I would do. Knowing that the guard just comes by and checks the lock.
You break in and then close the door behind you on your way. And then you'd go to meet the dude who was waiting in the crate for you. and put
Mhm.
it back in the crate. Are those crates still here?
We don't have the capacity to investigate that. We would assume no.
Can we talk to anybody else at the National Gallery, or is this like our
This
one
is the
One
encounter?
contact.
entirety of the National Gallery.
Everybody else is
Because-
at home.
Because if I were planning this heist, I would have my dude in the crate, right? And then after hours, he gets out of the crate, grabs the painting, puts it in the crate, and leaves. And then the crate goes to wherever the crate's going, assuming it was going anywhere else,
Right.
and no one's the wiser. Now, of course, this is a total anal extraction. I have nothing to base this on.
No, that was my thought too.
It sounds darn good. I like it.
But let's not assume that's correct. Let's just keep it on the back burner,
Okay.
because I just made that up.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so maybe it was deceptions. Maybe. I'm thinking we should either investigate Norris to get his side. Ooh, could be a mimic.
I suppose.
The crates are mimics.
Yeah.
And they
What?
fed them the paintings. I'm down with that.
What are mimics?
Mimics are monsters that look like treasure chests, so that when an adventurer goes to open the chest eats him.
All right.
At
Sure.
another time,
Yep.
Jenny will dissect how many things are wrong with that.
No. I think we should go to, well, either talk to Norris or talk to the auction house, or go to the auction house to see the circumstances of them being found and stuff. Potentially.
Works for me. Let's do one of those things.
I want to hear Norris's take on this.
Okay.
And see what he drops as far as juicy tidbits, as I am confident there will be something juicy in what he says. That we
I
can.
wonder if he knows a fellow called Filch.
I think his older
Mrs.
sister might. Okay, so, and it's a short walk
Okay.
over to visit Brady Norris. I'm still with the paintings were probably fake. You should talk to the smarty arty guy.
Like newly discovered.
I'm not. I'm wondering if Mr. Norris is going to give us some dirt in that direction.
I was wondering about that too, because they were talking about this newly discovered final painting of Rubens that just was added to the other gallery. Like,
What a coinky dink.
Someone's copying skills are improving.
yeah. Lots of new discoveries just recently.
Amazing.
What does Norris have to say?
Brady Norris rests his massive weight on his thick oak cane. His left leg is visibly shorter than the right. This is compensated for by a specially built shoe. Yes, Mr. Simpson did mention that you would be by to talk with me, responds Norris to Wiggins' introduction. He said to cooperate with you, so I guess you can come in. We follow the slow-moving figure down the hall and around the corner to Norris's study. Norris slowly lowers his sizable physique into a large chair. He continues to hold his cane between his legs, resting his right hand on its heavy silver handle. Norris is in his mid-30s with thick black curly hair and long sideburns framing his round face. He looks at us with large brown eyes. I don't see how I can be of much help to you. I was at Dame Agnes's dinner party when the robbery took place. I don't know any more than what I've read in the paper. Well, right now, we're just trying to piece together what happened. If you could just answer a few questions, it might clear up some points for us. What is it you want to know? Sighs Norris. Do you have any idea who might be responsible for the theft of the paintings? No idea at all. Do you have any idea how the thieves might have gotten into the museum? No. We understand that you are one of the last people to leave the museum on the day of the theft. Is it normal for the museum to receive shipments after the museum is closed? Normal? No. But I have no control over when the shipments arrive. I was simply informed by the shipping company that it would arrive at that time. What was in the shipment? Some sculpture the museum had purchased. Were the Decibers... No, that's our next question. Were the Decibers the most valuable paintings in the museum or in Gallery 12? No, of course not. Then why do you think only the Decibers were stolen? I have no idea. I'm not a curator, and I'm a curator, not a policeman. I really don't see what good these questions are doing. I've told you, I don't know anything. Just a couple more questions, Mr. Norris. After you left Dame Agnes's house last night, where did you go? I came directly home and went to bed, and that is what I'm going to do now. I've told you all that I know. I'm not feeling well, so if you will show yourselves out, I will bid you good day.
Just
I mean, is he really that, like, I don't know. He's obviously, like, the description is a person that's very mobility hindered.
yeah.
Good turn of
So-
phrase.
Oh yeah. I don't think that he did it without help because I don't think he moves fast enough to have removed the paintings.
To elude the
Or
gods.
is he just kind of faking it?
Oh.
What a
Well,
grumpy
with one
boy.
like noticeably shorter than the other, I think that's hard to fake.
Unless,
But he's got the shoe.
unless the orthopedic shoe hides.
Like they rolled the painting up really tight and stuffed it in his shoe.
Well, no, like the base of the orthopedic shoe is hollow, so he's actually normally built, but he wears the orthopedic shoe to hide the fact that he is perfectly healthy.
That's almost as crazy as my last idea.
Yeah, I'm not.
This is
having a
not
hard time following
torture.
along with that, Rob.
It's definitely
1811.
yeah.
You
he-
definitely could sneak something in there, though.
Well-
Jeremy called it the prestige.
Once we
Yeah.
eliminate the impossible,
Whatever remains
However improbable,
must be the case.
must be the truth.
Okay, so we've eliminated him as the person who took the paintings. We have not eliminated him as an accomplice.
That is correct.
I am bummed at the lack of. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
so tight.
I am bummed at the lack of guidance as to where the paintings came into his possession. I feel like that's a little bit of a cop out.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't like his. I'm the curator. I don't know what I was unpacking.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't make any kind of sense.
Lame.
Yeah.
What? You accepted the shipment after hours, and all you know is like, some sculpture.
Yeah.
I wonder
As
if it's
some
the same
sculpture
sculpture
in
that got the diamonds baked into it.
Is that a previous story?
Yes.
Yeah. That was a previous
Yes.
case.
Diamonds baked into it.
Yes.
It's a thing. It happened.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
I
Okay.
almost feel like we should go to Dame Agnes's because wasn't oh wait, Dame Agnes, is that Dame Agnes Smedley?
It is.
Yeah.
Although there seemed to be a Lord Smedley as well.
But do they live in the same place?
I am looking.
Or
Okay,
is that
according
just
to
mine?
my book, Dame Agnes Smedley is different than Lord Winslow Smedley, and they
Oh.
have separate residences. Literally
Well,
the
they would
opposite.
be different from each other even if they lived in the same place.
True, but they're not. They do not appear to be a couple. Or if they are a couple, they don't like each other because they literally live on opposite sides of town. Which might
There's a
be
story. There's
but-
a story.
might be how they're remaining a couple.
But well, they don't seem to be in the paper, either of them.
Our marriage is great as long as we live 8 miles apart.
Excuse me for just a moment. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. We will
Do we
continue to
want to
kibitz.
Josh is cooking something. I want upstairs. I want to check out what it is. Hang on.
We are going to take a 5-minute stretch,
So.
and we'll be right back.
So yeah, I think we should go to Dame Agnes Smedley's.
Okay, why?
Well, what the two museum people were there.
They were?
Simpson and Norris both were at hers because Simpson said he was going to be there.
So it was Nina upstairs,
Didn't he?
and she made me a piece of toast.
Aw.
Okay,
Aw.
Butter
wait
on
a
it.
minute.
Wait a second.
Wait a second.
I thought, yeah, when Simpson left the main entrance, I believe he said he was in the guard's story. Didn't he say he was going to be going to Dame Agnes's?
I'm looking now.
I didn't write that down, but I feel
No.
that.
Simpson said he was going home.
No,
Norris.
7:30. Simpson would be at Dame Smedley's for the evening, and then Norris said that he had also spent the evening at Dame Agnes Smedley's.
Oh, good catch. He said he was going to
Yeah.
go home, and then he came back in the company of the French gentleman.
Yep, and then they all went over to Smedley's.
You're right. She did seem to have quite the shindig last night.
Yeah.
So you want to go
That's
inquire
why-
as to the
What, like,
events of
why-
her and three strange men, one of which is French, at her
Well,
home.
not so much that, but just like they're all people who have something to do with the paintings. So perhaps did they all stay there all night? Did
Scandal.
Did they all, or did somebody leave and not have an alibi?
I'm almost wondering if we should just cut to the chase and go ask the society page guy.
We could. That seems to have been the thing
Yes.
to do.
100%.
I mean, I've
Check the
Just
society
searched the
page
paper,
first.
and there's nothing under Smedley or Agnes.
I want to throw the 5 points away just to see if this time it's the right idea to talk to the society columnist. I'm cool tossing those 5 points if they turn out to be a dud.
I mean, I don't care about points, so yeah, let's go.
All right, let's talk to the society guy. Because twice we have not gone to talk to him, and it has been a good idea to go talk to him.
Yes, Mr. Pike, the society columnist. Okay. And who knows? Maybe this will be a dead end, but I keep thinking of how many times we've gone, we never thought to talk to him because that's not his thing.
And this is going to be the only one where he's like, yeah, I don't know.
The Thames murder one, he was on the list of people to talk to that Holmes checked in with. Okay. Langsdale Pike has secreted himself away in a corner of the Society's Club in order to avoid his admirers. He does not look well. Oh, my poor head. I believe I had too much to drink at Dame Agnes's bash last night. What did you hear there that might be of interest to us, says Wiggins, apparently too loudly for Pike's liking, as he clutches the sides of his head and rocks back and forth at the sound of Wiggins' voice. I heard many things, but not quite as loud as that. He pauses for a moment to let the pain in his head subside. Pierre Donnet dominated the festivities. I must say, or is it Donnet? Yeah.
Donnet.
Okay. I must say, I could barely get a word in edgewise. The man certainly has placed himself in the position of an art expert. I bet he knows more about those paintings than de Kuyper himself. Oh, and that Mr. Hypsilante and his barbaric Greek drinking customs. I don't blame the man, though. He was surely drowning his sorrows. His sorrows? He rushed all the way from Greece to bid on the de Kuipers and missed the bidding just by a minute. He traveled 3,000 miles and was a minute late. A tragedy for him, at least. I left early because I had other engagements. He closes his eyes in pain. But I did not leave early enough. Oh. We take our leave as quickly as possible.
Interesting.
So, we now know for certain that Dame Agnes had a party.
Yep.
And that would explain. And it was an art party.
Mm-hmm.
We have the name
Party,
of someone
party,
who.
if you will.
A what?
An arty party
It was an arty party.
Archie
with a
Farchie
bunch
party.
of smarties.
Self-declaimed smarties.
Self-proclaimed smarties. So that's
Okay. So
borderline helpful.
I don't know if Pierre Donnet is useful, except that he's an expert on art.
Supposedly, anyway.
Now, if we dig up one of the paintings, maybe he can identify it for us.
Yeah. And I'm really torn about whether or not it's relevant that Mr. Hypsilante wanted the paintings, because if he was about to steal the paintings or was financing the stealing of the paintings, why would he be drowning his sorrows at a party the night that he was stealing? Like, why heavily drink?
To
Plausible deniability.
Yeah, to defer suspicion.
But I
don't know why you would think that I would steal the painting. I'm so sad. No.
Yeah, but I still think it's like, why would you get yourself drunk and risk slipping and saying something?
Maybe he was only pretending to drink.
Maybe. Maybe he did. Okay. So that actually didn't hurt us a ton, but I'm not sure it gave us what we needed.
Hmm.
That being a clear lead.
Okay.
Just a point of clarification. So the auction, how many paintings were up for auction?
It's a good question.
Probably
I think you
several.
probably have to go to the auction house for that.
I mean, how many of the De Kuyper paintings were up
2.
for auction?
2.
So the 2 that were stolen are the 2 that were up for auction. And
That
these
was
are
what we were
separate from the ones that Smedley has.
Yes.
So it was the paintings that are missing were from the National Gallery Museum and then the Rijksmuseum, the one in.
The Rijksmuseum is
That
still
one
in.
is in the storeroom still,
Right.
as far as we know.
Oh, storage gallery. I wrote that down in a note. Okay, so the 2 that are missing from the National Gallery were always at the National Gallery.
They were the ones bought at auction.
The ones they just bought.
Right.
I don't think they had any before. Or if they did, they didn't make a big deal about it.
Okay, so they bought them from the Louvre, yes?
No.
No.
They bought them from a private collector who had discovered them.
Okay, so there's still 4
Yeah.
at the Louvre, 1 at the Rijksmuseum, 1 at Smedley's house, 2 that are missing that were just purchased.
Yes, except the Rijksmuseum one is now in the storeroom of the National Gallery. And the
4 from the
4 from the
Louvre are now at the
Louvre
French
are in the
embassy.
French embassy in England.
We know a why?
Because they were going to put them all on display at the same time.
And then they
Okay.
decided not to move them to the gallery just yet because of the theft.
But once you
That
steal
seems
a
like
painting,
a good idea.
once you steal a painting, you can't really exhibit it.
This is true.
Well,
Because if it gets reported stolen and then it turns up in your gallery, people are going to ask all kinds of embarrassing questions.
you can display it. You just have to limit who sees it.
Right.
Right.
You know, Moriarty's got to have at least a couple of Rembrandts up on his wall, for which he has no bill of sale, but...
He says, "Oh, look at these lovely reproductions."
Oh, no, Moriarty, he's like, oh, yeah, that's totally the real Rembrandt.
Well, depending on who he's talking to.
Well, yeah, like I said, control the audience. But progress we are not making. So we've talked to Norris. He told us next to nothing other than establishing it is profoundly unlikely that he was in on the crime, the caper itself. We definitely have established that we like the theory that the robbers came in with the shipping boxes,
Mm-hmm.
which would imply heavily, glancing again at the map, that storeroom also currently houses the German painting. The German, the other museum's one. So there's something,
Rijksmuseum is that Amsterdam?
or Amsterdam, yeah, the Rijksmuseum's one is still there, which I'd be thinking that's a great way to get those paintings out of the country. Is to pack them
Sorry?
with the other
yes.
ones. So.
Back in a mo.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if there's something there, but we don't have any names of who to follow up with for that, do we? I mean, we could go to the, which is that, the Finland? My geography of Europe sucks.
Finland?
Which embassy would we go to?
For what?
For Amsterdam.
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Thank you. Dutch.
And what we want to, yeah.
The Dutch
That would be
embassy
the
makes sense. Dutch and Flemish schools, yeah. So we could maybe check on that if they have an embassy.
And ask them what?
I don't know.
Just go visit and see what they say. Right?
See if somebody just lets loose that they were trying to steal the paintings.
I'm not sure they're going to say that.
I don't think they will either.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
What about the auction house to see if there's anybody else who possibly was going to bid on or was bidding on the paintings.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Armitage's gallery it is?
Quick question. How far away is Mary LeBone from any of these galleries?
Let's see.
Jen's got the map. Why are we checking out Mary LeBone?
Well, I noticed that there's a note about a fellow from France who caused a crowd to assemble by performing with a bear in the public highway.
I saw that too.
And that's just so weird. I wonder if he
Indeed.
might have been like causing a distraction or running interference or something. If it's anywhere near there,
But remember,
it might be worth putting on the shelf and coming back to. If it's not, then never mind. But
Here's a good question. I do not see it anywhere right close.
okay, then never mind.
Strand, because the National Gallery. No, the National Gallery is on near Charing Cross Road, Trafalgar Square, Haymarket, Shaftesbury, Little and Andalways, Little Street, Andrews Street, Castle Street, Bedford Street. Yeah. I couldn't tell you exactly where it would be, but it's not there.
okay, so we're off to the gallery then?
To where?
The auction
The
company.
Armitage? Armitage and Armitage?
Yeah, is that the plan?
I believe so.
Okay, so we're now leaving that district, going across town to the auction house. All right, to the auction house at 21 Northwest.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I gotta take a text box. This is,
Okay.
this is stop number.
All right, whoa.
What?
A bonanza of block text.
Okay.
Okay.
What's that?
I'm gonna have to go get some tea for this one. Aha. Rubber boat. Okay. There's a lot here. I want to be ready for it. That's our house that's chirping, isn't it?
It's the fire alarm, it's the smoke detector. It just started beeping.
Yep. Great. That's going to be fun tonight. Okay. We are shown into the well-appointed office of Joseph Armitage. He greets us from behind his desk and motions us to take the empty chairs arranged before him. He is a small man, and his slight frame is almost lost in his large leather chair. His thinning hair and pale, delicate features make him appear as fragile as the porcelain that decorates his office. I understand that you're here in conjunction with the De Kuyper theft. How may I help you? Could you give us details leading up to and including the sale of the De Kuyper paintings? I suppose so. For the most part, it is public knowledge. It was early June. Let me see if I can find the exact date. Armitage opens a leather book that is lying on the desk. Yes, here it is, June 10th. On that date, I received a visit from Hiram Davenport, a solicitor here in London, who informed me that his client had 2 paintings by De Kuyper that he wished to auction. This, of course, sparked my interest. It is not every day that such extraordinary paintings are offered for sale. I told him that would be an honor to handle the sale. My euphoria abated as I learned the conditions. And what were these conditions? That the auction be held on July 1st and that a public announcement was not to be made until June 23rd. Only 1 week advance notice? I was flabbergasted. The auction of 2 De Kuypers would be the art event of the year, and too much notice would not be unreasonable. Unreasonable? It was the only reasonable thing to do. And if it were not enough, Davenport informed me that they had to be sold as a pair. A pair! Well, I informed Mr. Davenport that his client would stand to lose a great deal of potential profit through these restrictions. Davenport said his instructions were clear and immutable. If I could not meet the conditions, then he would have to find an auction house that could. Of course, I accepted. You weren't suspicious? It seems that these are very unusual conditions, or am I wrong? Armitage rises from his chair and walks over to the ornate sideboard decorating the left wall of his office. He pauses, his eyes transfixed by the delicate porcelain displayed there. After a moment, he turns to us and says, "You must understand. Armitage's is not your local shoe emporium. For 3 generations, we have been the most prestigious auction gallery in London. No, the world. You get that reputation by putting before the public the best and the rarest of objects, not by turning them away. What could be rarer than paintings by de Kuyper? The papers were in order, a certificate of authenticity was signed by Pierre Donnet, the well-known de Kuyper expert. Export papers approved by the Belgian government. Everything was in order. I have been head of Armitage's for nearly 20 years and have dealt with some very eccentric clients. It is our duty to serve the client, to advise him on how he can get the best return on his sale, but in the end, it is his decision on how the sale should be handled. So you do not know who the seller was? No, I only dealt with Mr. Davenport. I am not sure that he himself was aware of the client's identity. This is not unusual as it may seem. Many times the seller may wish to keep secret his sale. Most people sell when they are in need of money, and for personal and business reasons don't want that fact to be made public. What can you tell us about the auction itself? Not much more than was in the papers at the time. Unfortunately, it went as I had expected. Due to the short public notice, many of the bidders did not show. Sir Simpson Whitcomb was the successful bidder, as you know. I must admit that the paintings brought more than I expected. I had told Mr. Davenport at the time that the bidding might be as low as £80,000, which is what I had expected. So when the paintings went for £125,000, I was pleased. Why did they go for more than you had expected? Well, there was some very energetic bidding from Sir Herbert Kaufman and Dame Agnes Smedley. What can you tell us about them? Not much. Dame Agnes is a frequent participant at art auctions. She bids early but usually drops out once the bidding gets serious. She has gotten some bargains this way, but she is not what I would call a serious bidder. Sir Herbert Kaufman comes from a well-known family. His father was a railway magnate and was serving in the cabinet when he died. My dealings with Sir Herbert have been on the other end. I don't think it is any secret that he has been selling off his family heirlooms for over the past year. I assume he was looking to pick up the de Kuypers cheap and resell them for a profit. And those were the only bidders? Yes, for all practical purposes. Of course, there were other bidders, but nothing serious. Unfortunately, Angelo Hypsilante arrived after the bidding had closed. The Greek shipping tycoon? Oh, you haven't heard about this? Armitage returns to his seat behind his desk. Placing his elbows upon the desk and bending his head in our direction, he continues. Moments after I had closed the bidding, Angelo Hypsilante dashed into the hall. When I told him that he had missed the de Kuypers by minutes, he demanded that the bidding be reopened. I informed him, of course, that once the gavel had fallen, the bidding is closed. He was furious. It seems that when he heard of the sale, he had rushed here from Greece to participate. And what can you tell us of him? He is an enigma in the art world, a man of great wealth with a passion for art. You can find him at most art auctions. It is rumored that his private collection is one of the best in the world. Last year, he bought at auction Rubens' The Kings for £150,000. I don't know much more than that. That's all I can recall.
So obviously he stole the painting.
Wonder.
Did he though?
Did
Yes.
he?
I don't like him because of the whole getting himself sauced the night of the crime. Seems like a surefire way to drink yourself into saying something stupid in front
Unless
of a
he
bunch
was
of arts
watering
people.
his drinks.
Or wasn't drinking as fast as he made out.
Mm-hmm. So as to avoid suspicion, he took him.
Well, but he wasn't there. We know that much.
I don't know. I'm wondering if Herbert Kaufman and Pierre Donnet were in on it to make a buck. Because he was talking about Herbert selling off his stuff. And
Might have been an insurance fraud scam.
yeah. And Pierre, and they were the society guy was saying, "Oh, Pierre Donnet was, nobody talked about anything except him, and nobody could get a word in edgewise." So he was promoting himself as the art critic, and he was the one that signed the certificate of authenticity.
Okay, we definitely have a ways to go.
Interesting.
'Cause here are the questions we get to answer.
Oh, jeez.
The fourth stop seems like a great place to pull out the questions.
All right.
The core questions are as follows. Who was responsible for the theft of the decibers from the National Gallery?
The Grecian guy.
Why were they taken?
Because
he collects rare stuff.
Who murdered Matthew Cole?
I don't know who Matthew Cole is.
Oh, that's in the newspaper.
damn it.
No, it's not who, but the murder is in the newspaper. Are there more questions? Or those
How
just
was Donnet involved in the case?
Aha! He certified a fake painting.
I'm digging that.
Ooh, me too.
I'm digging that.
I have no proof.
Yeah, and if it were discovered that he'd certified a fake, then his reputation would be irreparably damaged.
Yep. And I have a feeling if we do any more digging and come across Mr. Cole, recently murdered, it might come
here
out.
it is. Man dies in fire. Early this morning, a man was found dead in his room at the Dover Rooms. At approximately 2 a.m., the Metropolitan Fire Brigade responded to an alarm at 2 Newington Causeway and extinguished the fire before it had spread throughout the boarding house. Police have identified the dead man as Matthew Cole. The fire apparently began in Cole's room, although the exact cause of the fire has not been determined.
Knowing that this is related, what a great way to get rid of 2 fake paintings.
In the fire?
In a fire.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Samesies.
And they were insured, so...
Matthew Cole was the painter.
We should investigate his quarters.
They're all burned down.
But there might be a clue.
Like
Clue?
charred paintbrushes in the rubble or whatnot.
I mean,
All right.
why not?
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of other leads.
It's
Let's
it's
go.
true. We have a lot of speculation.
We have a
but
lot of
don't have
speculation. We have again, we always seem to hit this spot right about nowish where it's like, okay, now what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we already went to the gossip columnist.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
now we
my
have to go to the
fallback.
prison.
We have to go to prison.
And the coroner
The
to
coroner.
find out about the dead guy.
We could end,
Yes.
we could end up
Yes.
there at some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cole's residence.
Thing.
Oh.
All right.
Constable Lane is standing outside the blackened door to Matthew Cole's room at the Dover Rooms and informs us that the yard suspects foul play. At 2 o'clock this morning, a fire started in Mr. Cole's room. Fortunately, it was put out before it spread to any other part of the building. Mr. Cole's body has been sent to St. Bartholomew's. Some of the charred debris from the room was sent to Murray at the criminology lab for examination. The doorman informs us Mr. Cole has lived here for the past 2 months. He kept pretty much to himself, and he did not seem to be
His big
employed,
painting. Mm-hmm.
for he spent a great deal of time in the pubs in the area. I have seen him myself at the Red Boar Inn. And so, shall we go investigate the criminology lab, or should we head over to the Red Boar to see what Mr. Cole was commonly up to?
Criminology lab is my vote.
Let's go there.
Let's see what was in the
first.
debris.
You just like hearing me read this guy's section because it's always fun.
That too.
Well,
Because Murray's nuts.
Like Murray.
Little CSI London. All right. We hustle to the criminologist. Whoomp. Murray is at work at one of the tables littered with chemical paraphernalia. He is in the process of pouring a light brown liquid from a flask into a beaker. He looks at it for a moment and then reaches for another beaker containing a white liquid, which he pours in the first beaker. With a glass rod, he stirs the mixture into a light tan liquid.
Coffee.
Mr. Murray, can we talk to you for a moment? Murray looks up, lifting his head so that he can see through the glasses that rest precariously on the end of his nose. Ah, Wiggins, how are you? It's Wiggins, sir. Do you have time to give us some information? Yes, it's tea time. Would you care for some? He reaches for the beaker on the table in front of him and takes a sip. No, thank you.
Right?
That was one heck of a way to describe pouring yourself a cup of tea. Suit yourself, let's see. I bet I know what Holmes would be interested in. 914, the debris from the fire at Matthew Cole's room. The debris consisted of wood, probably broken remains of a chair, and a piece of a canvas oil painting. They were saturated with kerosene, so I think there is little doubt that this fire was arson. Some of the wood has smears of Prussian blue paint, and there was a segment of canvas, about 30 by 50 centimeters, which I sent over to my brother Mortimer to examine. He's an expert on paint pigment and teaches chemistry at London University. Now that I look at it, it's the only case I have received today. If you're looking for anything else, I can't help you.
interesting.
Yeah, that's what we were looking for.
Coffee? You don't do coffee at tea time.
Yeah. I do
Can
know.
we see this fragment of painting, or is it?
No, it's at Mortimer's.
Bet it looks like a blue unicorn.
Can we go see Mortimer?
I'm sure Mortimer.
Oh yeah, the blue unicorn.
Mortimer's around
The Prussian
somewhere.
blue unicorn.
Mortimer Murray?
Yeah.
Of course, in Prussian that would be Einhorn.
Sounds like we had it at the get-go. Well, the problem is, can we be confident enough to commit to it is the problem with this. Like, we never know when to like lock in. Are we off to Mortimer's to get some intel on the painting?
I think, yes.
I think so.
All right, 43 WC. 43 WC. Oh! Okay, there had to be a trick. Whaling Caverns looking for more. Wait. Oh, WC. We have 4 out of 3. I guess. All right. Warcraft reference.
Yep.
Do we have a Jeff?
I don't know. He didn't say goodbye.
He just stepped away. I'm getting kind of close to stepping away and looking for a 9 volt.
Yeah,
305.
that beeping is gonna kill me.
No kidding.
You need to get some 10-year smoke alarms. Lithium batteries.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Honestly, we have 9 volts in the house because I want to make a trip out tonight. And I think that one's one.
Oh, now I heard it.
Yeah, that's one that's
You
gonna
heard
keep.
it that time?
That one's gonna keep dinging
Yes.
until we can't just pull the dead battery out and have it stop. I think it's one of those ones that'll keep going even if you take the battery out.
Yep.
Okay, we find Mortimer Murray in his office in midst of a heated debate with Jean-Paul Beauclerc.
Oh.
Inspector Lestrade stands to one side watching. Beauclerc and Murray, who are seated at a table. On the table between them is a charred section of a predominantly blue painting. Its subject matter no longer recognizable. No one seems to notice us as we enter and stand just inside the door. Mr. Beauclerc, I am not an art expert, but I am an expert in paint pigments and their chemistry. I am telling you that any work which contains Prussian blue is not from the 17th century. The process to create Prussian blue had not yet been discovered. We take the risk of interrupting this discussion between experts to briefly question Jean-Paul Beauclerc on the disappearance of the paintings. I am deeply affected by the loss of the paintings. Happily, the theft didn't occur while the Khyber collection from the Louvre was exposed. I regret not having been able to examine the two paintings carefully. It seems that the circumstances of the auction in which they were acquired by the National Gallery could put into question their authenticity. As the sale took place in such a brief span of time, most of the main buyers of artwork in the world, among which I number, didn't have the chance to be there. There are many people without scruples in the world of art, and I'm certain there are buyers ready to acquire the stolen de Khyber. Buyers who would be so happy to add the paintings to their collection that the means of acquisition would matter little to them. Good God, at the reception at Lady Agnes's last night, there were collectors such as Mr. Hypsilanti, and maybe even her own brother, Lord Smedley, who would have no qualms in increasing their personal collection. Happily, the presence of my friend Pierre Donnet allowed me to spend a good evening. Donnet is even more of an expert than I am when it comes to de Khyber. I've known him a long time, ever since the Beaux-Arts. What's that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. We were both aspiring to become painters, but fate has chosen otherwise. Murray suddenly takes a magnifying glass lying on the table, as well as a long and fine needle, and uses it to piece through the painting. He then looks at the spot with a magnifying glass. Look at the smoothness of that hole. Surely you are familiar with the needle test. This paint can't be more than 30 years old. We exit as quietly as we entered, leaving the two men locked in their stubborn argument, neither willing to yield in this battle of science and ego.
Dun dun.
Dun-dun-dun.
If you take out the little watch battery too, it stops usually. I am going to go investigate that while you all debate our next stop.
What about going to talk to Donnet?
What about going to talk to Dame Agnes?
We could.
I just feel like Donnet is going to lie.
Was anyone in this whole circle hard up for money?
That would be Herbert Kaufman. The Armitage, Joseph Armitage said that he was selling off his things, and he thought that Kaufman was bidding on the de Khybers, hoping to get them cheaply and then be able to resell them at a higher price.
Okay. And remind me who was selling them in the first place?
Hiram Davenport represented an anonymous client.
Named
Rats.
Matthew Cole.
We could go talk to Hiram Davenport.
Not sure he would tell us who his client was.
And Joseph Armitage said he wasn't sure he even knew who the client was.
Yes.
But I think we know who the client, well, we don't know who the client was, but we know who the artist was. Was it Matthew Cole? Matthew Cole?
My money's on Matthew Cole.
Matthew Cole, who actually, said, I'm going to paint these paintings and sell them? Or did somebody hire him to paint the paintings and then sell them? And was he killed to cover up the forgery, or was he killed in anger because of the forgery?
Well, it depends on who stole the paintings and who commissioned the forgery and why. See, if I were an art collector and I was hard up for money, one thing that I might do is find a talented copyist and say, here's 20 pounds if you'll copy this painting for me. I love this painting, but I have to sell it. I'm going to hang the copy in my study or whatever, and then switch them. Keep the real one, put the fake up for auction, and then make sure that no one knows that they're fake.
So, mm,
By killing the only person who knows that they're fake.
mm,
Hmm.
mm.
You have to really contemplate this kind of stuff when you agree to copy a painting. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. You might get killed. Did you think of that?
Interestingly enough, in the
Hmm.
National Gallery in Washington, it's encouraged to have art students come in and try and copy the paintings.
Mm-hmm. I have seen that probably in every art gallery I've ever been to. There's somebody standing there trying to copy something.
Mhm.
And at one point, a friend of my wife's was in the gallery painting a copy, and someone came up to him and asked him a bunch of questions. And people do that all the time, and he was really brief and curt and didn't even look up from what he was doing. And and they went away, and someone said, "Dude, do you know who that was?" It's like, "What? No, it's Chelsea Clinton."
Mm. And
Oh,
you
no.
blew it. I mean, they blew it.
Yeah.
So that was Jared's brush with fame.
Have you seen, by chance, the thing that's going around on Facebook, and it's like, write down 5 famous people that you've met, and one of them is a lie. And I say to myself, have I met 5 famous people?
Yeah. No,
That's
I
a no
haven't.
for Pam.
The closest I got is getting confused with Adam Savage from Mythbusters.
Oh, you
On
do sort of
occasion.
look like Anna Savage. Yep.
Because there was that one guy at Dragon Con who swore I was him and had to get a hug out of me. And I had been
And you couldn't get him to go away.
I'd
until
been
you gave the
shouting
hug.
so much for 2 straight days that I had no voice left at that point in the afternoon. So he's like, "Oh, are you?" Because I was dressed up. I had the heavy, chunky glasses on. And I had the cowboy hat and the leather jacket. And I was wearing a shirt that says, "Stand back, I'm going to try to do science." And so I was looking at him Savage on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh, you're him." And I started to go. He's like, no, I know you don't like making a big deal about being at a convention. I totally get it. I just didn't think I'd bump into you here, and this is so amazing. I'm like, no, I know. You're not really looking to spend a lot of time with fans. It's totally cool. I just have to give you a hug because I love your show so much. And then he gave me a hug, and he took a selfie with me, and he left. And I
Rob, you are
Mythbusters and went, "Oh man!"
I feel a little bad.
Yeah, he's gonna go around saying he met Adam Savage, and
just me.
Like, no, you met Rob Osterman.
Now, Tim Allen, that is someone that you will meet.
He was not taking no
Michigan.
for an answer, though.
No.
What about Tim Allen?
Spinny was just saying in chat that he met Tim Allen while working at Starbucks.
Oh, cool.
And that makes a lot of sense. I can see, a barista's getting a pretty good amount of passing throughs, especially as Southeast Michigan has had some decent films come through.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
Yeah.
Tim Allen went to my high school. And they never invite him back to give any speeches because I think he got expelled for drugs.
He did a lot of drugs.
He did. He found comedy when he was in prison as his way to avoid, becoming someone's girlfriend. At least according to his version of the stories. Is that no? Well, he went into prison with the name Tim Dick.
Oh God.
And so yeah, he has been sober since prison, because he got picked up at Metro Airport for being a carrier.
Oh my gosh.
That's how he got arrested. And yeah, he really turned his life. I mean, he's like a success story in a lot of ways. But I think Seaholm High School is a little nervous to call him back just on like.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. Well, why would they call back somebody who hadn't graduated from there?
That too.
Just trying to hang on to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to hang on to something.
Hey, remember when we expelled you?
We didn't mean to do that.
We could
Would you
all
like to come back and talk to and tell everyone to stay in school?
we can all agree you kind of
I'm not
had
sure
it coming.
That's about staying in school, because if he got expelled and
Mm-hmm.
he's a success, where's the motivation? Oh, well, I could just be like him and get expelled for drugs and go to prison, and then I'll be famous.
Okay, so
Yep.
what did you guys come up with while I was fixing that battery and saving our sanity in this house? Oh, I don't like that sigh. I know that sigh.
Well, here's my harebrained theory. The mysterious client, the anonymous client,
Mm-hmm.
hired the dead dude to paint copies of these paintings
Okay.
with the intent of selling them, and that's why they had to be sold at this really narrow window, because they didn't want some expert coming in and saying, "Hang on."
And the
Right.
role of the actual expert was to help maintain the, what did they say? The facade.
Yes.
I like it.
So he was on the payroll,
Yeah.
and the dead artist was murdered by either the
Moriarty.
mysterious client or agents thereof, to make sure that he couldn't say, "Yeah, I painted those."
Yeah, but who's the mysterious client? That's what we have to figure out.
That's the missing link.
Right. So that's why my vote is a little bit like go talk to Hiram Davenport.
Which
Who was Hiram Davenport again?
He's
The
the guy that
auctioneer.
represented the anonymous
Oh, yeah.
person
Okay.
Right.
My
who was
thought,
selling the painting.
okay, on the hopes that maybe he'll let slip how they
Yeah.
came to talk. All right.
The guy at Armitage said he didn't think he knew who it was, but maybe
but he might.
he might.
My other thought was we should head to the Red Boar to see if the bartender there has
Maybe
seen who
Cole was
Cole
socializing.
was socializing with.
I like
True.
Might have
that.
more success
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the bar.
Yeah. Because Hiram's probably gonna lie too.
Stonewall us.
Because all the lying.
All the line. Okay, now do we want the Red Boar Inn, the Red Boar Tavern, the Red Boar Drinks and Spirits, or the Sign of the Red Boar?
Are you kidding me?
No, but it's for a moment there you started to wonder.
You're so funny.
That's why you married me.
Well, let's start with them in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Also, I proposed to you in Disney on a street with a band and people watching. You really didn't have a lot of choice.
There was a band?
There was a band.
Like
It was a
coincidentally or planned?
A little
funny
bit
story.
a little bit of both, actually. Coincidentally, they were there. We were enjoying them. I was mentally processing if I had the cojones to pull this off, during which Jen was ready to move on to look at other things, but I wasn't ready to because I was still deep in the machinations of can I pull this off? And we had a little bit of a kerfluffle where there was a disagreement about what we were going to do next. And then I kind of dragged
I
her.
was like, I'm going to go into this store. I don't know why you're so enthralled by this band. I'll see you later.
And then I kind of had to
Don't
drag
fight
her
me when you're done.
back out because at
And I was
that
like,
point
it's hot. I don't want to stand here anymore.
I worked
fine.
up the gumption to ask the band director if it would bother him greatly if I were to do this in front of them and if they could maybe play a Dixieland fanfare when I did. And he was, oh, we'll totally do that for you. And they wrapped up a song and he looked at me and I looked at him and he waved and I stepped up and I dragged Jenny in front and I proposed and then they started playing behind us. And
What was the song that they played?
I have no idea. It was some
I was just
fanfare-ish thing.
curious.
It was short.
I
Yeah.
wondered if it was like the bridal march or something.
No.
No, it was a Dixieland fanfare.
That kind of a thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I
That's
said,
really
the key is
That's a nice story.
position them
Yeah.
so that their pride will not let them say no for the sheer audacity of the event. On that note, let's head to the bar.
The Ostermans in love.
The fun part.
And then we went into the store to buy a little costume jewelry ring.
Did
That
you not have a ring, Rob?
I did
Get
not.
a picture of a ring.
I had one
you
I had
have a
picked
ring?
out, and I was going to order it, but I had not yet had time to get it.
Oh, is that what it was? You were all like, I thought we should pick out the ring together, honey.
That too. Okay, so
She could have said no, because no ring. I'm just saying.
this did not work.
What?
Oh.
What?
The bartender
What?
says last time he saw Matthew Cole was 2 days ago. Matt came in, has become one of our regular customers for the last few months. Why, just the other day he was here with a heavy-set gentleman who walked with a limp and carried a cane.
I would.
Stop.
They spent over an hour here in deep conversation. I didn't recognize the gent, but since he was buying all the drinks, Matt consumed more than his wont.
Love it. Love it.
Interesting.
Love it.
Kaylee would also like to report that she is A, safely made up north, and B, gone on Nana and Papa's Wi-Fi.
Oh, she's so smart. Aw.
At least I'm assuming that because she's the one who sent the text, so it has to be from her phone, which only works if she's on Wi-Fi somewhere.
She's so smart.
She is.
Good girl.
She would just do her tests. Anyway, so we have now confirmed that Mr. Norris is in cahoots with our dead potential artist.
He's the artist.
He's the artist.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
Which sounds like
But
So-
why? Was it for the insurance?
it's always for the insurance because they're insured.
With whom? Do we
Lloyd's
know?
of London.
Yeah, when in doubt, Lloyd's. No, but it seems reasonable that they
It was Lloyd's.
was it Lloyd's?
It was.
I seem to remember
Was it
somebody
really?
saying Lloyd's.
Yes.
I didn't remember
Oh yes,
that. I
yes,
just
of
think
course,
yes.
by Lloyd's. Ironically, Lloyd's actually was a pub in the 17th century. And sailors would
interesting
would
little
put money
factoid.
into a jar when they went to sea. The logic being if they didn't come back, their widows could come take money out of the jar, becoming literally the first life insurance policies. And eventually the jar got so full that the management of Lloyd's Tavern had to start figuring out how to keep track of the money. Because sometimes the jar wouldn't have a lot in it, sometimes it would have a lot, sometimes widows would think they were owed a portion of the jar versus et cetera, et cetera. At least that's the story behind it. I got that from a
I
law
know,
professor.
that's interesting.
That is really interesting.
This is a
Lots
great
of,
story if it's not true.
Lots of businesses in London started as pubs or coffee shops.
That makes sense.
So anywho, they were insured, so it's an insurance scam.
All right.
That seems reasonable so far as our supposition. I don't know to what extent we want to keep digging to support it. The questions we were going after were: who was responsible for the theft? Why were they stolen? Who murdered Cole? We don't really know who though. I can't see Norris.
It's got to be Norris.
You think Norris went up there and just beat him and burned him?
Yeah.
You think?
Tossed a lot of kerosene on there.
You think?
Limped up there and
Yeah.
clobbered him with his
Called it a
cane.
day.
Or was it Donné because Cole was feeling guilty and threatened to out him? Or did he out him to Norris and Norris didn't know?
And Norris went to, because the Norris conversation was 2 days before the, 2 days ago,
Right?
2 days before the theft, he met with Cole at the bar and got him good and drunk.
So maybe Cole spilled the beans to Norris.
Yeah, I'm liking that.
and said, yep, they're fake. And Norris and Donay killed Cole and arranged the theft so no one would ever find out that the National Gallery spent money on fakes. And that Donay had certified the fakes. So then we don't know who put Cole up to it, though. If that's the case.
So are we?
Is that one of the questions?
No. We just need
No.
the questions are who murdered him?
Yeah.
Why were they stolen? So far we're thinking they were stolen to hide that they were forgeries. The murderer, we don't know yet.
Also to hide that they were forgeries.
Huh?
Or yeah. Or was it all for the insurance? I could go either way.
Well, we know they were
Both the-
forgeries.
They were forged
Yes. Yeah.
to raise money. They were destroyed possibly to get more money because insurance,
Well,
and also to cover up the forgery.
So is the theft to cover up the forgery, or was the theft to who was responsible for the theft, and then why were they taken, and then who murdered Cole? So technically, we haven't even answered the who murdered Cole yet.
It's got to be Norris.
So my thought is the theft was for the insurance. The burning was to cover up that they were fake,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the murder was to cover up that they were fake.
and
Okay.
the murder was to cover up. But who did the actual murdering? That
That we
And
don't
be a
know.
couple of different people still.
who coordinated the stealing, which I'm still.
Norris, I'm sure, helped coordinate it, but I don't think he did the actual stealing. He had to have an accomplice.
So he's
Or did
responsible.
Donay?
How
Donay
big
has
is-
a huge motivation.
Yes, but
Also.
Donay was at the party. Unless we need to go talk to Agnes and find out if he left at any time.
Let's go talk to Agnes.
Yeah, all right.
To the Smedley estate. Which one?
Dame Smedley.
The
Dame
one who has the
Smedley.
parties. Smedley. Ha! 47 Northwest. Dame Smedley. Okay. What would be nicer than a booklet is if these were like envelopes or something, where we could just kind of like shuffle them around the table.
Mm-hmm.
Harder to put back
Like,
away after that, but
Who has the
Yeah.
envelope for
yeah.
Dame Smedley?
Or even like a binder with individual pages that were tabbed,
Oh, that would be
so
nice.
we could pop them out of the binder and get them on the table and put them all back when we were done.
That would be nice.
Okay.
That would be super nice.
We await Dame Agnes in her library, where we notice several familiar miniature statues, including a Venus de Milo.
It is the statue with the diamonds.
When she joins us, we find her to be quite loquacious. The party that I gave last evening was in honor of the exhibition of the Dechyber paintings. I invited my very special guest of honor, Monsieur Pierre Donay, the discoverer of the Lady in Rose Garden, the first known Khyber painting. His parents caused quite a stir of excitement among the guests. Monsieur Beauclerc, an old friend of Monsieur Donay's, was very happy to see him. My brother, Lord Smedley, and Sir Simpson
Oh, her
congratulated me for thinking of bringing Monsieur Donay over from Belgium for the evening. Mr. Norris, usually such an outgoing young man, seemed a little taken aback by Monsieur Donay's presence,
I bet.
and did not contribute to the evening's conversation as I had hoped. Mr. Hypsilante and his friend Clifton Maddox added just the right dash of excitement to the affair. Donay was the toast of the party, entertaining us all with his jovial anecdotes. His enlightened discussions with Beauclerc enhanced the appreciation of us all for the Dechyber. Mr. Hypsilante and Mr. Maddox left early, around 10 o'clock, if I recall correctly, so they were not here when the constable arrived at nearly midnight with word of the theft. Mr. Norris left immediately, and after getting the full story from the constable, Mr. Simpson asked Lord Smedley if he'd be kind enough to drop his wife off at their home so that he could attend matters at the gallery. Messrs. Beauclair and Donnet left together, intending, I believe, to have a drink at the Langham Hotel where Mr. Donnet is staying. So, we have this mysterious Mr. Maddox, who was there with Mr. Hypsilante, who perhaps had not had so much to drink that night.
Where did Beauclair and Donnet go for drinks?
The Langham Hotel.
Thank you.
We probably need to go talk to Donnet.
Or Hypsilante.
How do you spell Hypsilante?
Then we murdered him. Nice.
Oh, is that the HEP?
Yes.
That's the Greek dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if Hypsilante stole the paintings completely separate from the murder of Cole to
Cover it up.
cover it up.
And then hid it in a small town in Michigan near Ann Arbor.
With a strangely familiar
Burned the
name.
paintings and then he murdered him. Nice. Yeah, there definitely was an effort to hide this.
I feel like, but all these people were at the party, and when were the crates delivered?
Like it's 7.
Like 6?
7.
Oh, I thought it was 6 something.
6 or 7-ish.
6. Yeah, it was after the museum closed, but it wasn't late. So whoever stole the paintings, if they're inside the crates, they can't be at this party.
Correct.
Oh, because wait, what time did the party start?
It was a dinner party. So
Yeah.
Could have been any time after 6, really.
mhm.
Yeah. Although Norris was taken aback that Donnet was there. Maybe he wasn't expecting to see him because he thought he would still be stealing the paintings.
I'm wondering if maybe Norris isn't as involved as we think. And here's why I'm thinking that is I feel like maybe his whole thing with Cole was he got wind of this whole affair and then confronted Cole to get the full story, intending to expose it later.
And then somebody else killed Cole for talking to
Yeah,
Norris.
maybe.
But if he'd already talked to Norris, what good would it do to kill him then? He's already told his story.
True. It doesn't tell anybody else.
Yeah, but they've got the fragment of the painting that has the Prussian blue on it.
Okay, fair point.
Unless...
I don't know.
I don't know. So... Yeah, because Simpson went to Dame Smedley's after leaving the museum at 7:30.
Uh-huh. So they were all converging there, except for Simpson, who went
Yeah.
home first to get his wife,
Yeah.
and then go over there.
Have we spoken to the wife?
No, I don't see Simpson as being being responsible though.
I don't think so either.
It doesn't feel very Holmesian to have the guilty party be the one to come to Holmes to investigate.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Although that would take
Bit
some
meta.
serious cojones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ask the greatest detective to see if he can figure out if I did it.
That sounds like a Moriarty thing.
Yeah.
Moriarty shows up at Holmes's door in disguise and says, I need to hire you to
Yeah.
find out who killed blah, blah, blah. And
So, okay. So what have we got so far?
Yeah, so nobody at the party can be the one who stole the paintings.
But
Because
they-
the paintings were, unless it was, she didn't say when everybody left the party, did she?
Yes, she did. At
Oh, she did.
10
Okay.
o'clock,
10
Maddox and Hypsilante left.
Oh, that's right. So they could have.
Yes, and then everybody else left after word came from the police.
Okay, so yeah, everybody else left after the paintings were stolen. So the only people who were at the party who could have done the stealing are Maddox and Hypsilante. So, but the crates were already in the museum by that time. So if they came in via the crate, which we suspect, it still couldn't be them.
Right.
So we need some.
Although anyone at the
Henchmen.
party could be responsible for having coordinated. The only way we could follow
Right.
that up is if
Is
we
that-
went and checked in at like Jardines or something, since that's
Would-
where the
do
crates
we
were
have to know
labeled
who
from.
did it or who coordinated it?
Who is responsible?
Yeah, let's go to where the crates were labeled from. Do we have that option?
Yeah, I'm sure we do.
We also have this: was Herbert Kaufman involved in the theft? As our bonus questions, and we haven't pursued him. He was one of the bidders.
Yeah, we've talked about him.
Who?
He okay. So who's he paying?
Donet. No.
Who's he paying to get the Count de Money? Oh, that's de Monet.
Huh?
Sorry.
Donet. Demonet. Ha ha ha.
Is he So my thinking maybe is Kaufman's paying is agreed to buy the stolen paintings,
Okay.
but that still doesn't tell us who stole them.
No. Well, should we go talk to him? He's gonna lie.
He's on our I don't know. We haven't really done anything with him yet, and he's on our list of
Possibles.
possibles. So we get some bonus points if we can get something out of him, and sometimes that returns from a score point. Sometimes we pick up a little bit extra if we actually pursue it with any diligence.
Yeah.
Or we're off and investigating Donet, see if he lets anything slip.
I could go either way. I'm gonna let you guys decide. I'll be right back.
Okay. What do we think? Ooh, does Darla have an opinion?
He always has an opinion.
Because I'm open. We followed up the paint. We know that the paintings were fake, and somehow they got to Cole's house and they got burned. So now all we gotta do is figure out how they got there. We could also check the hotel. That Ypsilanti is staying at. Could ask with Maddox. We can ask Beauclair directly. We could go to the French embassy.
I still feel like maybe we should go to, to the place where the crates were labeled to. I keep forgetting that name.
Jardines?
Jardines.
I'm down with that. Jeff, you good with that?
Yeah, what do you think, Jeff?
I'm in.
Okay. Because that will, we're making that, we've been making the assumption all along that there was shady stuff in the crates, so
Maybe they didn't actually ship the crates from anywhere. Maybe they can say,
Right.
"Oh yeah, they were brought to us and we labeled them and we shipped them."
Right.
So 15 EC. Let's at least confirm something about that joint. Jardines informs us that the shipment of Nubian art consigned to the National Gallery was delivered to a warehouse at 38 Blackfriars Bridge Road on the instructions of Mr. Brady Norris 5 days ago.
So
Nubian art?
Mm-hmm.
I know, yeah, like what is that?
That's out of left field.
Mhm.
Well, but didn't Norris does say when we talked to him 20 that when we said what was in the crates and some sculpture the museum had purchased.
But okay, so the crate company is saying that they sent the stuff to a warehouse.
Yeah.
But the crates in question were brought right to the museum.
So it'll be at the warehouse that some hanky panks happened,
Oh.
if anything. Because the shipment came in by Jardines, they went to a warehouse, and then it was summoned by Goings and Cummings to deliver to the museum.
Okay, what a mix. Where are we?
Like Goings and Cummings.
So we could investigate the warehouse.
I feel like that's too much of a stretch. I don't know, that's just me.
We're getting stumped again.
You're stumped again.
Yeah, we just went to Jardines. They confirmed that shipment came in and was directed to a warehouse by Norris. Good night, Jeremy. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. Well, I'll let you know how this turns out.
Okay, so dragons. Why did it go to a warehouse before it went to the museum or the gallery?
Right.
It's got to go somewhere.
Maybe we should.
Why
Why
investigate
can't
the
it just go
warehouse,
straight to the gallery?
Right.
because it has a storeroom.
Yeah.
But like, which is the more secure location?
The gallery.
I mean, theoretically, the gallery.
Right.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
Well,
Cool.
the guards have a very rigid routine, and
This
Yeah.
is true.
Well, if we want
but
to,
at least there are guards.
if we think there's some hanky panky, then do we know where 38 Blackfriars Bridge Road would be? Do you know what district that is?
Let me look. 38.
38 Blackfriars Bridge.
Well, it's not EC.
Okay.
And it's not WC. And
I gotta.
don't see it in Northwest.
Found it. Right next to
there's-
Blackfriars Bridge. And I can't tell what district it is, though. What?
Blackfriars Bridge. Is it below or above the
It's
river?
below the river. So south.
Oh, there it is. It's in southeast.
Southeast, yep.
Yep.
I had to zoom out. But yeah, it's right near the river.
No. Oh, there it is. Oh. We found the owner of the warehouse, Jim Hodges, who tells us the warehouse was rented until yesterday by a Matthew Cole, who had rented it for the week previous. It doesn't look like he did much work here. It looks like it did before I gave it to him.
Huh?
Interesting.
So
What
it
if-
was just a place where the
What if-
crates were Go ahead, Jenny. Go.
What if it was Matthew Cole who did the theft because the fire didn't happen until 2 a.m.? So somebody left the party, interfaced with him, after he stole the paintings and set the fire. I don't know.
No, it makes sense. I mean, we can check with Goins and Cummings to see when they picked up the shipment from the warehouse to bring to the museum, but it definitely is now looking like the fact that it's we're back to it's probable that the thieves used the shipping boxes to get into the museum.
Yeah.
Right.
And Norris,
I wonder
go ahead.
if the original contents of those shipping boxes aren't lying around somewhere.
The Nubian art, right?
Right. Did they make it to the museum?
Not that we know of yet. That's the first we've heard them mentioned.
Oh, there was it's listed as Nubian art.
That's
The
what
statues or whatever.
that's what Jardine said. A shipment of Nubian art was sent to the
Describe
warehouse.
them as, yeah.
And at the warehouse, Matthew Cole has been renting it. It must have been his intention to sell them to somebody. And when somebody realized they were a fraud, they killed him and burned the paintings.
Yeah.
So at least they can get the insurance. Or
The thing
Revenge.
is, if the door is locked from the storeroom into the gallery, somebody on the inside has to be in on this.
well, Norris probably left his keys on his desk. I'm sure he has keys.
And then says he locked the door.
He locked the door on the way out, behind him. Or the person got the keys, locked the door before the guard came through to check. Got
So-
out of the crate, went to his office, got the keys, locked the door. It was locked when they came through, unlocked the door, went in, took the paintings, went back out.
Okay.
And then they either escaped out the front door when nobody was looking or
Went back
out.
into the storeroom.
went back into the storeroom until such time as and hid in the crate until daylight or whatever.
Or until
Or until
after the alarm had been sounded, they could sneak out the back door,
Yeah.
perhaps. Because at that point, he goes back to his house. Norris meets up with him.
Yeah.
If that's the case, you stole me some fakes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have the pieces?
I think so, except I think we need to talk to what's his face to answer that bonus question. Kaufman.
Kaufman? All right. Let's go visit
Yeah.
Mr. Kaufman.
All right.
Kaufman. I can't find him. He's not in the book.
He's not in the book.
Check your book.
All right, hold on.
He's not in my book.
Starts with a K, right?
Starts with a C.
What?
What?
Oh, maybe it starts with a K. I will look.
How do you spell Kaufman with a C?
C-O-F.
Coughman.
Well, hold on. Let me double check the thing here.
I thought it would be K-A-U.
No, it's C-O-F-M-A-N.
Yeah, Kaufman.
C-O-F-M-A-N?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
He's not in
that's
the book.
very phonetic of them.
Yeah.
Well, the English are known for being a little weird. He's not in the book at all.
Hold on.
We also don't know what wine
Oh, you're right.
Donet
He's not in the
enjoyed. We'd have to go talk to him to get that information. And he's at the Langston.
How do they... Okay, how can they reference somebody and not have them have a living place in...
Is there a listing in the paper somewhere?
Herbert Kaufman.
Okay, the Langham Hotel, which I believe is where Donet is staying, is the 36 Northwest. If we want to go check in with him to find out what wine he drinks. I don't think any of our leads mentioned where to find.
Where to find Kaufman?
Where to find Kaufman?
Mm-mm.
Sir Herbert Kaufman. I also wonder, Hypsilanti left at 10 o'clock. Do you think maybe he slipped out to coordinate the theft? His guys on the inside let him in? Or do you think that's just a coinky-dink?
It could be. We've talked about him possibly being the one. I don't see anything, at least not in this month, about
Okay.
Kaufman. So maybe Kaufman is not related.
Yeah, we could just chalk it up to the glorious non-stop errors that seem to sneak into these.
Yeah, we'll find out he was in prison. Let's see. Kaufman. Well, sure, we can go find out the wine.
Okay.
Why not? Maybe we'll find out where Kaufman lives when we go there.
I see what you did there. Why not?
All right. To the
That was
Langham
totally
Hotel,
not on purpose.
where we believe.
Not.
Actually, let me, before I commit to turning to that page. I'm getting tired. My penmanship's really going. Let me confirm that's where he was staying. Yes, he's staying at the Langham, which is 36 Northwest. EC, Northwest. Here we go, Northwest. Ooh. Two columns.
Ooh.
2 columns. Pierre
Wow.
Donnet receives us in the bar at the Langham Hotel. He is a tall, thin man in his late 50s with salt and pepper hair and a Van Dyke beard. He is nattily dressed in the latest continental style. Donnet waves us into vacant chairs at his table. What can you tell us about the theft of the De Kuypers? Nothing, I'm afraid. I only arrived in London yesterday afternoon. I had only time enough to settle into the hotel and prepare myself for Dame Agnes's dinner party. I learned of the theft at the party. Such a great tragedy, the loss of 2 priceless masterpieces after being so recently found. What can you tell us about the paintings themselves? Oh, such a beautiful pair of paintings. Summer Solstice has such vibrancy, such brilliant color. It has that sense of color which has become the hallmark of De Kuyper. And the blue unicorn, it was such a soul the eyes were. We are more interested in where the paintings came from, actually. Could you tell us who the seller was? Nope, I can't be of much help there. I don't know who the seller was. You signed the certificate of authenticity, did you not? Yes, I did. I was approached by Mr. Rudolf Steiner, a Berlin lawyer. He was representing a client who owned the 2 De Kuyper paintings, which he wished to have authenticated. This was the first I had heard of these De Kuyper. I tried to find out more about the origins, but Mr. Steiner could not or would not tell me any more than that his client wished to remain anonymous, and that he was only authorized to show me the paintings. Of course, I had to see the paintings, if nothing else. The next day I went to his hotel room and saw them. When was this? Let me see. It would have been the first week of June 5th of last year, I believe. Was there any doubt they were De Kuypers? Donnet retrieves a bottle of the Montrachet from the cooler and refills his wine glass. After he replaces the bottle, he continues. You must understand that authenticating a work of art is not an exact science. I must admit I had my doubts, but they all vanished away once I entered that hotel room. Even from the doorway, there was little doubt that what I saw were the De Kuypers. Upon close approximation, I was convinced that they were indeed painted by De Kuyper. For 5 hours, I went over those paintings and could find no fault. The signatures matched, the use of color, the brush strokes, the type of canvas. Everything was in order. What we look for is something out of order. We know nothing of de Kuyper's life. No diaries, no letters, no bills of sale. Only his name mentioned by Rubens in 2 of his letters. We only know the dates of his birth and death from a letter which Rubens wrote in July 1612, in which he states, I am saddened by the death at age 32 of one of my students, Jan de Kuyper, who held great promise. That is about all we know of him. So you saw the paintings only that one time? No, I saw them a week or so later, on the 15th, I think it was. I was asked by Mr. Steiner to verify that the paintings he was turning over to a man from Lloyd's were there the same as those I had authenticated. They were. That was the last I saw of them. So you have no knowledge of the painting thefts? No, I'm an artist, not a policeman.
So I might understand this correctly. Like, he authenticated the paintings a long time ago.
Twice.
Both a long time ago, right?
Last summer.
And they were turned over to Lloyd's for
Probably insuring.
storage at that time? Like, where have the paintings been between then and now? Or have they been at the gallery this whole time and then were just now stolen?
Well, they were handed over to Lloyd's. That would be the insurance company.
Right. So were they being displayed and they just hadn't had an opening gala yet? Or were they in storage at Lloyd's
Must have been
prior to the prior to this opening exhibition, the opening of this exhibition?
No, we were doing so good.
Sorry.
Right.
Okay, so my money says they were being stored by Lloyd's until the auction.
Wait, no, the auction. Oh, this is prior to the auction.
Right.
Wait, what dates were they?
I think they were
I
prior to
thought
the
it was
auction.
after the auction.
June 5th of last year.
Oh, June 5th. I thought it was July 5th. And I was like, wait, that was after the auction.
Yeah, so they were...
Okay,
And
so
a couple-
that was prior to the...
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And then on the 15th, he saw them to verify the paintings he was turning over to a man from Lloyd's were the same as those he had authenticated. So this would imply that if this guy is what he says he is, he's confident the paintings he saw were real. He handed them over to the insurance company. Insurance company took them to the auction house. Auction house sold them to the museum.
Mm-hmm.
The museum displayed them. The museum gets robbed, the paintings disappear, and then fakes show up in Cole's house after he's been burned to death, or beat and then burned, with the paintings burned, and they're new paintings. So either Donet was completely wrong in his 5-hour inspection.
Or Cole was supposed to make replacements so that the theft would not be noticed, and he was killed and the paintings burned because they weren't authentic enough and could not be used as replacements.
And Norris discovered the paintings weren't good enough and confronted him on it.
Maybe?
Mm.
I don't know. That feels a lot more tenuous than our other.
Well,
It does
all of
feel
our other
tenuous.
ones are guesswork too, so
True. That one feels more
Of a reach?
fantastical. Yeah, more of a reach.
how is it more of a reach than any of the nonsense I came up with?
I don't know.
Okay, let me write some questions down here. Let's see how we're coming with answers.
I am not finding any Herbert Kaufman with a C in any of the old newspapers.
Okay,
So we are just not going to get to talk to him.
that would seem to be the case.
I did find a lost collie dog, black with tan eyebrows.
Who
They-
was responsible for the theft? Well, I do think there's significant evidence that this Cole guy. No, it's always Hollow Knight. Well, glad we're having you lurk, Neutrino. Feel free if you hear something that makes you think I think I have an idea. Feel free to chime in. We might bounce
Right.
our theory off of you while you play. Why were they stolen? Who murdered Cole? Four, what is Donay's involvement? Suddenly, Donay's no longer involved, really.
Unless he's lying.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm just like, he did the certification so long ago. Doesn't even seem relevant. I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, so we've got the bonus questions worked out. The wine that he drinks is that Monchanert, and Ypsilanti lives in Greece.
That was a question?
Yep.
Oh.
Those are our
that
bonus
was-
questions.
Well, those were easy.
We're thinking as of now that Cole was the one who stole them.
I think so.
And we're thinking, was it the plan to replace them with the fakes? The fakes weren't good enough?
I don't know. I was just throwing that out there.
We also...
I still think Ypsilanti stole them.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
How? And where does Cole figure in? Because remember, Cole's definitely in on this. He was renting the warehouse
Right.
that those packages came from and went to.
Did were Cole and Ypsilanti planning this heist together, and Matthew Cole made copies of the paintings and was going to swap them for the real paintings, give his copies to Ypsilanti. Ypsilanti found out about it and then killed him. Yes.
Oh, so Matt's Cole's goal was to, yeah, I'll do the job for you, and then I'm going to give you the fake stuff at the end of the job and keep the real things for myself.
Yep.
Could be.
And so you're like an
I
Ypsilanti
still
for
think
the
just
murder.
like Ypsilanti has the, I mean, he's the one who missed the auction. Like he's the one with, he's the one who's most angry that he lost out.
True.
And I seem to recall.
Although he had to plan out the, maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Or maybe that
mean,
was
you're
like
right,
a
he's-
cover that he missed the auction. Maybe that's a cover. I don't know. Just not sure anymore.
I mean, you're right that he had. It sounds like he was described as the angriest.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, we
But you're also right that he supposedly just arrived and wouldn't have had enough time to plan out a complicated heist.
But maybe that was the.
when was the
I
auction?
don't know.
The auction was a couple weeks ago, wasn't it?
A couple weeks ago? No, it was a month ago.
Yeah. They've
was
just
in
now been
July.
able to get this all together to do the presentation.
Oh, I forgot that the auction was that far away.
Yeah, it was back on
So
July 1st last year.
Ipsy's been hanging around in London since
Yeah.
for 6 months.
Or he's coming and going. Like maybe he's back in town for the unveiling because he's a big art guy.
Yeah, could be. But the next question is, okay, so he's a Greek dude in London. And he's gonna murder someone.
I don't got a lot more to go on. I feel like once again we've run a bunch of leads. We thought we had it, and we go to one more and like, oh nope, that shatters our theory. We can check. I'm not sure where to check next.
I got nothing.
I mean, we've got lots of leads. I just don't know if anyone's going to give us anything new. It's a problem. And we're bumping into that running after straws thing because we seem to have missed a key step somewhere.
The prison.
Yeah, so we went to the Langham. Let's see. We have. So here's what we know. We know Cole was involved in getting the crates into the museum.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. We know Cole is dead, and he had potentially a fake painting with him. A modern painting. Where do we go to talk to more people?
I don't know.
Do we
Trafalgar
question?
Square. Tons of people there.
Do we question Hepsilanti?
We have not.
Do that.
Might be worth doing that.
All right, let's head there. We got maybe 2 more leads in this tonight, and then we're going to have to just make our best guess. He does not have lodging here. We need a hint about where he's staying.
That hotel? No, we've already.
Wait.
No, I can't remember. Have we been to the hotel?
He's probably staying with his friend, Mr. Maddox.
Possibly.
Maddox has lodging.
Is that spelled with an M?
M, yes. Maddox Clifton. Let's go ask his friend what's up. That's the closest we're going to have to getting to him. 34 EC. That was a dead end.
Nobody there?
Nope. Clifton Maddox landlady tells us he's not home. Haven't seen him since yesterday.
Is he dead?
Sounds like he skipped town. So, I'm liking Ypsilanti for it.
Okay.
Or at least he and Maddox killed Cole.
I think so.
That would explain why he left town. I don't think we're going to be able to find Mr. Steiner because I think that's overseas.
Mm-hmm.
We could still talk to Lloyd's to see what's up with the insurance. Let's see if there's any lead there as to who gets paid from it.
Well, wouldn't the gallery get paid?
Probably.
That seems.
Yeah, follow the money.
You know, the gallery owns it, so that's
Right.
a thing. And then we have to figure out how to reconcile Norris and Matthew knowing and Cole knowing each other.
Norris left him his key or whatever.
So Norris is in on it too then.
Yeah.
I say definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he met with Cole, so
Right.
I feel like he had to have something to do with it. And I think that he either knows something he's not saying in order to make sure that they get the insurance payoff, or he was involved in getting Cole into the museum by leaving a key for him.
By basically sending for the shipment because he signed for it and everything.
Oh yeah, and letting him in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And like ignoring what was inside the crates.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Nubian
Yeah, 'cause-
art or a person. You know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
because usually you should unpack a crate right away to make sure there's no damage, so that if there's damage, you can be like, no, this was like this when it would arrive, not 24, 36, 72 hours later.
You can report it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So, back to the questions at hand. Do we keep digging or do we write our answers?
I think we have our answers.
Okay. So, who was responsible
let's-
for the theft?
Cole.
Cole.
He was the one in the crate
Okay. Why?
Mm-hmm.
because he was hired
Because he
Money?
wanted them.
by.
Hired by Norris?
by Norris and Hepsilani. It's a
Okay. So,
Big ugly triangle.
who killed
Yeah.
Cole?
Conspiracy?
conspiracy. Yeah.
Who killed Cole? Maddox?
Or Hepsilani.
Hepsilani.
Yeah.
Yeah, blame the foreign guy.
The guy who skipped
No,
the
because
country.
like Cole was trying to cheat him by painting fakes.
Well, the guy who skipped the country is also a very convenient guy
True.
to accuse.
True.
And then Donet's role in
better be
this
sure.
was that he authenticated the originals, but not the ones on display.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The authentication's just too long ago.
Okay, so what if we go this route? Cole was the one who stole it.
Yep.
With you there.
Why? Because he was hired by Hipsilani, murdered by Norris to hide the fact that the ones that were on display were the fakes.
Okay.
And that's where
Alright.
Donet comes in. He never authenticated the ones on display. He authenticated the originals that were sold,
Right.
Mhm.
which are still missing.
Those end up.
No, that's not a question we have to answer.
Okay. The original owner still has them.
Well, Vinny, welcome aboard.
All right.
We're actually
I
we're
feel-
wrapping this up, we think.
I feel better about this one than I have felt about most of the ones that we've done.
So we're back to who? So who killed Cole then?
Well, you said it was Norris.
The killer.
Yeah, the killer. The killer killed Cole.
So we're thinking Norris did it to hide the fact that these were fakes. And we get rid of Norris as the hired by. We say that Simpson hired him to get him. That's okay. We're processing here, man. We've hit that sweet spot where we're going. We've got like almost all the pieces. We just haven't put them together, and we're gonna hate ourselves for it.
I just don't know.
Or maybe we're gonna get lucky.
I'm liking this current setup,
All right.
but that's me. I need everyone to agree that we're gonna go with it, or we should go get some more information, figure out
I
who we're
have
gonna talk
nothing better. Let's take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Go with it.
Also, it's like 20 to 11.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got 20 minutes left, so.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We are seated at Baker Street along with Mr. Simpson. Holmes is standing silently in front of the fireplace, his eyes fixed upon the flames. Other than a monosyllabic greeting, he has not said a word since we arrived 5 minutes ago. Finally, he turns towards us and addresses Sir Simpson. I guess the best way to start, Sir Simpson, is to give you a factual account of what has happened. I think it would be best if you wait until I have finished the complete story before asking any questions. We are in the process of doing the solution to Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective Case 10, the Pilfered Paintings. We've made our guess, and we're going to read through the rest of this. Whatever you wish, Mr. Holmes, agrees Mr. Simpson. To start with, there are no decibers. They're all forgeries.
Oh.
Forgeries made by one man. It has to be one of the greatest art hoaxes in history. done to satisfy
Oh,
the
boy.
ego of its perpetrator. Any guesses?
Cole.
Norris.
Who's the one expert in
Donay!
decibels?
Because he's the expert.
Pierre Donay. Donay is a very talented artist, but the style he loved and in which he was an expert had been declared passé by the art world. He set out to create Decaiber. He wrote his biography. He painted his pictures, and the art world embraced this created image. Many major art historians place Decaiber in the category of a minor master. Art investors raised him to the category of a major master. What started out as an exercise to demonstrate the fickleness of the art establishment turned Donay into a world-respected art expert on Decaiber, and it turned out, for Donay, to be quite rewarding financially. This whole story is not without its humor. The next chapter in the story must be given Donay great satisfaction. Bradley Norris, not knowing that the Decaibers were forgeries, and Donay the forger, but being familiar with Donay's work, approached Donay and proposed that he forge a Decaiber painting. One can only imagine the willpower it took Donay upon hearing this proposition to hold back the laughter. How could Donay pass up such an offer? He agreed to Norris's plan. He would forge the two Decaibers and authenticate them. Donay saw no reason to enlighten Norris of the fact that he had forged all the known Decaibers. Norris informed you of the upcoming sale of the two Decaibers. He made sure the National Gallery would be a successful bidder. Everything went according to plan until you upset it. Me? Exclaims Mr. Simpsons. Yes. You arranged for the Decaiber show, bringing all the Decaibers and the leading experts and putting the spotlight on the two paintings. Remember, Norris didn't know the other paintings were forgeries. He thought that only the National Galleries were. He panicked, afraid he would be found out. He made plans to have the Decaiber stolen. He hired Matthew Cole, a minor thief, to help him. He smuggled Cole into the museum in the crate that arrived the day of the robbery. He gave Cole his keys. The rest was simple. Norris arranged to meet Cole after the robbery to retrieve the forgeries. Perhaps Cole, thinking he had possession of valuable masterpieces, tried to demand a higher price for his labor. Or perhaps Norris panicked at the idea of a witness, a potential blackmailer. For whatever reason, Norris killed him, thus both lowering his overhead and getting rid of a witness with one blow of his cane. He then set fire to Cole's room, hoping to destroy the evidence of two crimes at once. That's the story of how the perfect crime went wrong, concludes Holmes. Unbelievable, responds Sir Simpson. What about Herbert Kaufman? Asks Wiggins. He helped his friend Norris, but he knew nothing about the forgeries or the murder. And Donay? Donay was here to enjoy the spectacle of the art world paying homage to his creation. How could he miss it? It was the crowning touch to his genius. Norris came to him with his fears, but Donay told him not to worry. If he had only believed Donay, everything would have worked out to his satisfaction. Well, Mr. Simpson, that's the whole story. We should have summoned Lestrade and let him handle the arrests. What will happen to Donay? Asked Wiggins. I think you will find that he is on his way back to Belgium. I don't think he will suffer any legal repercussions. The museums will just put the paintings in storage and keep their reputations intact. I don't think they want Donay in prison with time to write a book on how he hoodwinked the art world.
Wow.
Ah.
Well,
Okay, now this is where things get a little dicey.
Okay.
Okay, so who was responsible for the theft? Now, we said Cole, who did do the theft.
Yep.
We did not specify who hired Cole to do it. Do we
Did
give
it say we
ourselves...
had to specify who hired him
Well,
to do it?
it says responsible, and they list Brady Norris for 25 points.
Oh. Well, we weren't gonna say that anyway, so I guess we're wrong on that point.
So we're not,
Or we should-
we take no points for that.
I don't know. I feel like we should get half points because we have the person who actually
Okay.
stole the paintings,
We
but not.
definitely didn't get points for saying who he was hired by. We debated and we picked the other guy.
Yeah.
That was an oops. Who murdered him?
yeah.
We get full credit for that.
Yep.
And do we give ourselves any points for Donay's role in this? Having completely missed that he was the one who pulled the whole thing off.
So I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Like so we knew that the Prussian blue was in the paintings,
Yeah.
and Prussian blue hadn't been invented at the time of the.
Yeah.
At the time that it was theoretically painted, but like if you were an art expert, you would know that also.
Yeah.
And wouldn't paint the painting with the Prussian blue, right?
What would you paint it with?
I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, why would the art expert should know better.
He wasn't that good of an expert.
So do we give ourselves any points?
That's why he had to fake paintings in order to become
Just
one.
like, it just feels incongruous.
I feel okay with that.
Okay.
I think he was like a slacker in his schooling, and he was just skating by, and that was one of those details that it just went whoop. And so when he had this fantastic idea, he was like, I'm going to use these colors, not thinking about whether or not they were
Invented yet.
Yeah.
He's a
He didn't-
Farby painter.
Yes. He's like, I'm going to do what looks good. I don't care if it's accurate.
If they'd have had Prussian blue, they'd have used Prussian blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So do we
So
give ourselves
I think,
any points for that?
I think we get half on that too, because we said he was well, okay, fine.
Is half
Of
points
course.
part of the rules? Just
No,
No,
we're
probably
doing
not.
that. I'm going to say 5.
5
Okay,
points.
5 points.
I'll take it.
Kaufman apparently drove the getaway car.
How do we
The
find
what?
out? What getaway car?
There was a getaway car at some point.
Of course there was.
Did it have the bear in it too? From Marleyville?
Oh, and in Ypsilanti, he actually stays at the Grand Hotel.
Ah, so we could have talked to him.
I wonder what he would have had to say.
I don't know.
Or if he would have just been speaking Greek.
Which,
It's all Greek to me.
yeah,
oh
somewhere,
my gosh! Yeah,
somewhere
it's
we
had
missed
to be
it.
said.
Somewhere we missed a chance to pursue him more. There was a lead we missed that told us how to find him.
Oh, well, what was that?
I have no idea.
I sure don't.
I have 0 idea. So our total for solving the crime, 10, 35, 40, comes out to an even 50 points.
And I just want to say, are you counting the social guy?
Yeah.
Because he didn't tell us anything that we didn't find out other places already.
He didn't?
No, because
Well-
he told us about the Greek being upset about
Mm,
the lost paintings, and he told us about Donay
but
expounding on art history and whatever, and stealing the conversation.
but he told us that before we had gone to other places and gotten that information.
That's true.
Yes, but I don't think we went anywhere based on his on his information, that we didn't go and then later get that information.
So you
Does
think
that matter?
we shouldn't count it?
I don't know. No, I guess we should count it.
Okay, well, the gallery doesn't cost us points.
Okay.
The warehouse does not cost us points. Now, curiously, comings and goings wouldn't cost us points, but Jardines does.
Huh.
I'm going to rule that Jardines does not cost us points. And my
Why?
rationale for that is we were able to get the same information we would have gotten from goings and comings by going to Jardines. So it's like, it's kind of like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. We made a stop to figure out what was up with the shipment. Holmes talked to the shippers.
Sounds about right.
We talked to the shipping company. I consider that, I personally do not think that is bending any rules to not count that as against us.
Okay.
Coal does not cost us points, nor does the criminologist, nor does the criminologist's brother. Giving us, to get to our score of 50, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 extra leads.
7. I had 11 stops total.
The gallery, Brady Morris, Langston Pike, the auction house. Then we went to Cole's apartment. Then the criminologist and the criminologist's brother. The Red
Yeah.
Boar, Dame Smedley, Jardines.
Yep.
The warehouse,
Yeah.
Langston Hotel, and we visited Maddox.
I
Oh,
count
what?
13. Unless I counted 13 just now, unless some of those don't count.
Wait a second. Okay.
Now,
Are the criminologist and his brother the same stop?
no.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Then
Stop.
they're
National Gallery, Norris, Pike, Armitage, Coles, Murray's Lab, Mortimer's Lab, Red Boar, Dame Smedley, Jardines, the warehouse, Langham Hotel, and I forgot Maddox. So that would have been 12.
Okay. And then
Okay. And then
So,
how many of them didn't count?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So
7
1,
didn't
2,
count, or
6 did
7
not count. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh, there
5,
should
6.
be. Okay.
So 6 and 7 is 13.
So what was the 13th stop?
Did you count the hotel?
Langham Hotel is number 11.
Okay.
What did I miss? I don't know. It's not a big deal.
Okay. The gallery, Brady Morris, Langston Pike. You just want to not count Langston Pike. That's what this is coming down
No,
to.
it's not. I have him as number 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Auction
So-
house.
Number 1, Gallery.
Yes.
Number 2, Norris.
Brady Norris.
Yep.
Pike.
3, Pike. 4, Armitage.
Yes.
The auction house.
Yep.
5, Cole's residence.
Check.
6, Murray's Lab.
Check.
7, Mortimer's Lab.
Check.
Number 8, the Red Boar.
Check.
9, Dame Smedley.
Check.
Oh, I have 9 twice.
so
Yes.
99.
Yeah.
So when numbering, you generally move to the next number.
That was 9A.
So in 13 leads, 6 of them were his. That makes 7 ours. So that's a penalty
Okay.
of 35 points, giving us a final score of a positive 15.
Oh,
That's not terrible.
not our worst score.
The thing is, once again, some of these I feel really good when we finish, and some of them I just feel really dumb.
I felt really good about
This
this.
one,
And then we finished, and I was like,
Yeah, I was like,
What?
ooh, way off.
Well, okay, now,
I felt like it was a really good like, how would Holmes know that Donet was fabricating all of them? And not
Like, was there
that
somebody
he-
else we should have asked?
Not that he was seeing the originals and then the originals were switched out.
well, that's what's interesting. According to the solution to get a perfect score of 100, we had to, from the given intel, discern that. Let me go back to slide 1 here. We had to go to the gallery
Mm-hmm.
to confirm that there was, some foul play involved and get the information about what had happened there.
Yeah.
Then we had to talk to the shipping company to investigate the crates. We didn't do that. We went off on other leads.
Mm-hmm.
From the crates, we would have gone to the warehouse. From
Okay.
the warehouse, we would have gone to Matthew Cole's, where we would have discovered the paintings. From the paintings, we would have then gone to Murray, who would then send us to his brother. At which point, we should have gone, aha, Donet is a big faker.
Got it.
Which we probably wouldn't have, which is why we get the bonus points. If we had pursued Donet and said, it seems a little suspicious that there's only one expert who can certify all of these $1,000 paintings. What if? Because we knew they weren't old paintings. We knew that when we left the brother's place.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But we might have still made the supposition that they were switched out, not that that he created the fakes.
Right. It's a tough one. I think
Yeah.
the idea that we could have pieced this together with the other bits, like I have no idea how we were supposed to figure out what was up with Kaufman.
Yeah.
I'm figuring I've got a good hour and a half of video games tonight before we go to bed because you're going to sit there and read this book cover to cover and go, where the heck is Kaufman in here?
Yeah. But he didn't go to talk to Kaufman. He just was like, I know that he was the getaway driver.
Well, no. The bonuses are, remember, the points you get for doing the stuff that Holmes doesn't, that were still good decisions. So the 10 points we got for going to see Donay, we didn't need to do that to get to Holmes' solution, but we got 10 points anyways because it was a good idea.
No, we're talking about the getaway driver, though.
Right. So somewhere we were supposed to go somewhere else to get the getaway driver bit because that was not a true question. That was a bonus.
Got it. But how would
Friends, I gotta log off and put the child to bed.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's that
But
time.
it's been
it is that time.
a little disappointing. But
Well,
Well,
fun.
it's still nice to spend time with you all.
it was a good time. Yeah. So
I still
I'm
think
really glad we don't actually have to solve mysteries.
Yeah, it's probably it's reassurance that we picked the right careers.
Yeah, Shag and Scoob would be really disappointed with us.
Whoop. All right.
That is
All
very
right,
true.
good night, everybody.
Good night. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn those off briefly so that things don't look weird. Because I don't have a just chatting setting for this. And now everything's gone weird. Sigh. Okay, well, I'll be up shortly. I guess we're going to close it off.
I guess so. Not our worst, but definitely bring the book up because I am gonna find out how we're supposed to find out about Herbert.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
I feel a little betrayed.
I don't disagree. I definitely feel like we were kind of throwing this weird thing with this one. But again, 10th case in the box was meant to be the hardest case.
Yeah.
And so once again, there was probably somebody we were supposed to talk to that we just didn't.
Yeah.
So if you want to feed the cats, I'll be up in a few.
Alrighty.
We got a couple people watching. I'm going to see where we can go for tonight if anyone wants to go somewhere from here.
Okay.
Continue to pay this forward.
Yeah.
So those are hanging out. Valheim. Let me see who else is on tonight. Maybe we'll find a board game stream to raid. Just for the giggles. So, but yeah, that definitely was not the best ending we've had to one of those.
No. No.
Which maybe they get better later.
Well, yeah, this is like the first round, so maybe it is Sherlock Holmes. So I feel like there probably do need to be some leaps of logic. Not leaps of logic. It's still logical, but leaps of a wider gap, let's say. Like the dots are farther away from each other when you connect them. But I don't know. It does seem a little.
Yeah. Okay, I got a place for us to head. There's this interesting streamer I came across. She is a musician. She does folk music, Irish traditional, Irish modern, and at the moment she is chatting and playing chess. So we're going to head over that direction. So hopefully you have a good time. For those that hung around with us tonight, thank you for hanging out. Despite kind of the chaotic quick exit we all made and a bit of that felt like a waste of an evening.
I don't think it was that, but
No, I think it was fun.
yeah.
So we'll keep doing these. We've got 2 more boxes of these to get through. Hopefully they get better.
Hopefully we get better.
We're not getting any better. We're not wine. Age is not helping us. Well, thank you, Neutrino. Thanks for coming by and lurking with us while you're playing your Hollow Knight. It's good to have you there for that. And Vinny, hopefully you had a good time popping in here at the end. And we'll be back with more mysteries on next Monday. Tomorrow I'll be back for the Old Timer Happy Hour with my buddy Graybeard Tavern. I think we're talking bad DMs. Because we've got our stories from the years. And then the weekend gaming and D&D again on Sunday. So until next time, folks, please remember, you do not get to take advantage on a con save against Corona. Wear a mask. And above all else, keep everybody around you safe.